The D and Davis Show.
D and Davis Show. We got a lot to jump into. We got to a little bit go West Coast and talk about the debacle of the Lakers and the hit job done by the Magic Man. Let's see you, Magic. We have Gabe Lacques joining us from USA Today. We got a lot to get into, as I said. My name is Kenneth Davis. The next voice you usually hear is
D's Demons Pro. What's going on, everybody? Hey, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show. Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. Gmail, D and Davis Show, D and Davis Show at gmail.com. Download the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, rate, do all those good things. D and Davis' Show and D and Davis The Flip. You can find it on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Music, Stitcher, the TuneIn app, War on Media, and YouTube as well. I'm on Twitter at Demons1, DEMONZE1. Ken is on Twitter at That's Davis, executive producer of the D and Davis Show and D and Davis Flip. Well, Mr. Ryan Bukoveski. Ryan's on Twitter at Ryan B. Ski. And sitting in the studio with us is the main man, editorial director of WeAreRegalRadio.com, with Mr. Kyle Means. Kyle's on Twitter at work_right. Coming off the TNT love, the mean streets are lit. Yeah.
See, I just got off house arrest, so I'm public again now.
And also sitting in with us as well is Ian Jackson. Is going to be the intern for WeAreRegalRadio.com as well, right? All right. So,
yeah, well, y'all hear from him, I guess, over the summer quite a bit.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so look, I think the first thing we should jump into was what broke yesterday on First Take. I was watching it. I waited all weekend for that one. I was like, when they said it, I think Friday or Thursday.
Thursday, I think.
That Magic was coming on. Stephen A. Smith has been chopping at the bit, saying he was going to get to the bottom of it. And Magic basically pulled out that yapper on Rob Pelinka and just squeezed it to, there was a clicking noise at the end.
He backstabbed me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just Rob.
It was just Rob.
It was just Rob. Yeah, he was.
What about Jenny? No, Jenny was cool. It was Rob ass.
Straightforward. It was very clear who he was taking on and talking about some of the issues that took place with the Lakers. One thing I want to ask you guys this, and I guess this may show perhaps me being naive a little bit. When they got to the point of ownership and would he buy the team, and a lot of people kind of came out later and said that was probably one of the major angles of him doing that, to kind of put that narrative out there. And clearly it had to be, because you kind of go over what you talk about on those interviews, especially with someone like Magic, who everyone's wanting to interview. Mm-hmm. I mean, even if you're watching it, as he says, Rob Pelinka was the guy that would stab me in the back. You see the animation of Rob Pelinka at the bottom. You have to prepare to do
with
it.
A knife.
Yeah, you have to know early on. Hit the Rob anime. You have to, a little bit of behind the curtain. You have to know stuff like that. So, when you look at it as a whole, was this just Magic, of course, getting things off his chest and setting the narrative straight, or what were some of the things that you think were his ulterior motives coming forth and doing this right now?
I think he was probably getting a lot off his chest. I think at the initial press conference that when he did quit, he was out there for quite a long time talking
before a game.
Yeah, before the game too. Yes, it's before
Side
a game.
Note,
yeah,
this was what's his name? Frank's. Well, it's not Frank Vogel's. Frank Vogel's announcement of coming in.
Yeah.
On the same day.
That Monday?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
On the same day. So again, remember, the day that you were just saying about Magic was the last Laker regular season game.
Yeah.
There weren't going to be any more games because they're out of the playoffs. And Magic made sure he did it on that day because people felt that it'd be an afternote if he did it afterwards.
Right.
And again, on Frank Vogel's announcement, when you know the general manager is going to be there with his new coach, and he says on top of that, I wanted Tyler.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, I think he got a lot off his chest.
He did?
Definitely. I think it was definitely premeditated. I think he knew what he wanted to say. It was definitely premeditated. Now, when it comes to the ownership thing, listen, as he also said in an interview,
if the Lakers were up for sale tomorrow, yes, I'll be running up to Jeannie and say, let me buy him. And I think, listen, the list would be long. And of course, Kobe would want to buy him. And if LeBron was not a player or out the league, he would want to buy him. I mean, listen, it's a gold mine. The Lakers are a gold mine.
It's a gold mine. So why would the Buss family want to give up a gold mine? Why? It would be stupid to say, you know what? Yeah, we tired of this.
Because they don't make any money outside of the Lakers.
Listen, the team is worth like $5 billion. Yes, but this is the thing, though. When you are in that kind of a business, you at least have the opportunity to venture into other business ventures. You know, you have that opportunity. Now, one thing I don't know if maybe Kyle might know about this. Jeannie Buss owns the all-women's wrestling promotion. Is that making a lot of money? No, it's not. Only reason why I bring that up, they have other opportunities to get into other businesses.
She ain't been into wrestling?
No, it doesn't. No, I just said it.
Well,
that's not. I just said that.
Right. She already been in Playboy too.
Yeah,
so
that's
she
true
don't
too.
care.
Right. But my whole point is they wanted to be a family business. They don't have to get out of it if they don't want to. Of course, as Magic said too, everybody would be lining up to try to buy the Lakers, but it's a gold mine. So me personally, I wouldn't give up a gold mine. Even if it is my only business, I'm not going to do it.
But if you're family members who aren't seeing the same amount of profit from that gold mine, and the only way for you to get, I mean, what is it? I think it's like 5 or 6 of us.
I think it's all I remember is the 2 brothers and Jenny. Is it somebody
he
else?
has a kid from another wife.
Yeah, I heard there was a couple brothers trying to get in on
exactly.
this right
So
now.
there's those 2.
The doctor got some illegitimates.
Oh, yeah.
I think he
LA.
has 4 with his
wife.
Jenny's mom.
Right.
I think he has 2 or 3 from his other wife because it's a daughter from there that Jenny's.
So you're saying the other 3
they're not
are trying
of course
to
they're
move
not.
in?
That's I mean. Think
No,
about,
I'm saying, are you trying to move into the business?
No, I'm just saying not even move into the business. What he said, but think about as we grew up. A lot of times we heard that the McCaskies were probably going to have to sell when you're talking about estate tax with Virginia.
Yeah.
And also people were saying that there's so many McCaskies that you know when you have 20 or 30 people eating off of it, and you got to look at if the Bears, let's say they make after paying the players $40-50 million. I'm just talking about from just regular stuff. I'm not going out into what they get from sponsorships and everything like that. But I'm applying that to the Lakers, where these people that aren't involved with the team don't get the glamour. Yeah, it got a name, but look, I can be a billionaire, $1 billion, because if we can get 5 to 6, we can almost all get $1 billion. I could be a billionaire rather than being a slight, maybe 10 millionaire. Maybe.
That comes down to what the family wants to do, and if they decide like, hey, I want to be a billionaire, you need to sell this team. I mean, yeah, that's definitely something that, you know, the family has to figure out. But I'm sure, as Magic said, yeah, he'll want to buy it. Yeah. But no, I mean, the interview itself, you know, like you said before, man, he was definitely going out to Rob Pelinka. Like you said, he wanted to tie Lue. It was salacious. He's going to say what he's going to say. It's First Take, so you have to understand the environment that you're in. You can't go on that show and just be like, oh, you know, oh, well, you know, this happened, that happened. Be very, you know, monotone and not really give them anything. Because Stephen A. and Max was trying to pull out everything they can get. And for the most part, they did. And Magic was a willing party to do exactly what they wanted to do.
But it's funny you say salacious, though, because we are talking about Magic. And Magic is as cordial as anybody.
He is.
And so, to me, like...
Did it seem out of character to you?
No, but that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like it's Magic because he was like, "Oh, Rob, it's right," because he's still entertaining while he's throwing this guy
I'm still a Laker,
under the bus.
baby. I'm still a Laker.
Yeah, he's throwing this guy under the bus, but he's doing it with a smile. You know what I mean? It's like he was back in the day. He'll kill you with a smile. You know what I mean? That's Magic. You know, he's an entertainer in that way. You know, I think part of the what he was doing was he was essentially trying to rewrite what in the media we were going to write down as his legacy as the president, which is that he wasn't good at it.
Yep.
He was trying to get across that he had more of a plan than he actually let on.
And that the players that he selected were actually better than what they are.
Yeah.
He made sure to say that they're all special. And I was like, I don't know about that, bro.
Because he went to fight for ball, right?
Yeah, he
fought
for ball.
No, well, actually, I think that some of the narrative you hear is, yeah, he wanted ball, but really Jenny wanted ball because he was from LA, and that this was the year before, and that he may have been kind of open to a De'Aaron Fox or so and so, but she had the hammer that. But some people say that he was enamored with him from jump, but he said that Brandon Ingram is healthy. Yeah. Which is interesting to hear from the blood clots. I think we all think Kuzma is a good player, right? Is it right now? Yeah. But he made sure, real quick, to what you were saying, Kyle, he made sure to set up the narrative to the point of protecting his legacy. And I mean, that was basically why he came out. I don't think it was necessarily salacious, you know what I'm saying, because he was still kind of laid back. I mean, outside of the joyous moments. Yeah, and even I think he included Rob when he was like, I still love everybody up there. I think he included that. I don't believe it either, but I mean, we're talking, that's what he said. I find it, but this is what I kind of want to get to before you jumped in, before you could answer back. When you still look at it, was Magic really in the wrong, even if we all knew he wasn't going to be in the office regularly. I think when you're still doing a job like that, people still have expectations for you to kind of be in the office sometimes. So it's for Magic to be like, hey, I wasn't going to be, because they made it seem like, I thought perhaps he was there like 2 or 3 times out of the week.
Listen,
they made it seem like some weeks he wasn't there.
Let me thank Jeannie Buss for the opportunity first. When we sat down and negotiated, I told her, I said, listen, I can't give up all my businesses. I make more money doing that than becoming the president of the Lakers. So you know that I'm going to be in and out. Is that okay with you? She said, yes. I said, do I have the power to make decisions? Because that was important for me to take the job as well. She said, you have the power to make the decisions.
Kyle, he said it right there. He said, man, listen, I set this up with Jenny and I let her know that I still have this other stuff to do. And she said, okay. So he took the job.
He said, too, that he wasn't planning on being there more than 3 years.
I told him in year 2, I'm only going to be here 3 years. So my job is, Rob, to get you ready for this position. So, you know, I was going to help elevate him to the president's position.
And that he was in effect trying to set Rob. That's yeah.
But then I'm sure Rob Pelinka heard that. He was like, mother F. You a rookie, I'm a rookie. You lucky I don't help you out here or whatever, especially being someone that had at least negotiated NBA contracts regularly. Yes, they were both knaves and ignorant to some of the aspects of this position, but at least in a way, Rob Pelinka has been involved with dealing with management in the past compared to Magic probably only dealing with his contract outside of his other business ventures.
But Magic says, I got them 5 rings. I trumped that. I coached 16 games in 96
and quit.
I'm a Laker. I got a statue
came out of retirement.
I'm Mr. Laker.
I'm Mr. Laker.
As a stretch 3.
I mean, one of the biggest things, too, at least out of it for me, was the simple fact of how he said that what turned him off was the fact that he thought he was going to have a lot more control, and he didn't have that control. And that's what really is like, you know what? I can't do what I want to do. I'm hearing background noise or people in the back chit-chatting about what I'm doing. I'm out. And that part, that makes sense. Because if you're going in with the thought, or at least the agreement with your boss, hey, I want to make sure I have the power. I want to let you know I'm still going to be out there doing my business. You cool with that? I'm cool with that. Cool. And then once you start to really work into it for 2 years, it's kind of like that's not what's happening. It was just right to leave. It was just right to say, you know what, I'm out. To go on First Take and then publicly call out the GM like that, okay, and then turn around. That does let you know the cojones on this dude and how much pull he has in LA and the NBA. It's like, but man, listen, I'm still a Laker. Yeah. They still need me to go out there and talk to somebody. I'm still gonna go out there and talk to him. Bump that guy. Yeah, I said it on ESPN. Bump that guy. But I'm still the man. I'm gonna be around here longer than anybody else.
Right.
So
he knows he always gonna have more pull in LA than Rob Pelinka. So he got carte blanche. You know what I mean? But the thing that, like you said about his expectations, I don't know how he expected to wield the control that he wanted to wield when he was in effect being absentee. If he wasn't being there, even if he was just being there.
We just said he's Magic. I guess that's probably
that's arrogance involved, I guess. But you can't do a job like that and be there 2 or 3 days a week or less. You have to be there wielding your influence. And if you have these voices in the front office
then you need to be there.
Who he was worried about influencing Jeannie, he should have been there to slap them around.
D and Davis Show, right here, sitting in the studio with us. Kyle Means, editor director, weareregalradio.com. Have a question. So, do you think the way it all went down, if he was there a lot more, but still pulled out and left because of the certain situations that was happening, backstabbing, as he says, LeBron James' reaction to it? Because on there he said, like, Ken, hey, I understand why LeBron had that reaction, but I did what I wanted to do, and sometimes you got to do what makes you feel good, right? But if he was there,
like Haley Berry said in Monster Ball.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Magic, do something to make me feel good.
Okay.
That's quite a
Return to the flip. Everybody, check out the Davis
This is
flip.
quite a flip. Yeah.
Got it. Oh, okay. Nice transition.
D's got quite the bootleg collection.
I know.
I do.
Classic bootlegs.
But no, if
we
you
still have to pause the
This
tape.
this bootleg was burned from a Dell 343 back in 03. Look at it, classic.
Still got the green off LimeWire.
I remember this
LimeWire.
felt pen that I wrote the title on.
Passion of the Christ. No. but no, if he was there a lot more, I'm guessing that LeBron wouldn't have had that reaction.
Well, I think if he still would have left, LeBron may have had that reaction. But I think that's still the point of what we're trying to say. Like, we love Magic, but Magic is taking some of this heat too. Like, he can try to be like, I ain't got nothing to do with it, right? Nah, dude. Yeah, because even when you make a deal with someone, that's like if me and you make a deal, D, that you're supposed to be here a certain amount of days, but we don't lock down the amount of days, I probably still think, all right, he's going to be here half of the time. Not he's going to check in occasionally, because it's like you still need eyes. Yes, he's the talking piece, but if he's going to be the central figure, and is what Cal said, if you're hearing this and I guess what Magic did was, and I understand that Magic's like, I'm too rich and big. Like, we got to remember, Magic in the bank money is wealthier than Jeannie Buss. It's not even close if you look at how much money they have in their net in the bank or whatever.
Definitely.
So I'm sure he's like, I got too much stuff to do it like this. Do you understand? But she's still looking at it that you're the head and I expect this because, I mean, you're the leader. You're Magic. And again, I think it was a miscommunication perhaps.
Big time.
Yeah, but I mean, if I know everyone says that he wasn't going to be the guy that was actually carrying the water, right? That's the narrative that people on his side, Stephen A. Smith, Mike Wilbon.
So he was more so of a figurehead.
Yeah, that's what that people are saying. But this is the thing.
We'll make him an ambassador, like Scottie Pippen.
But to see a figurehead, you don't give last say to a figurehead.
Yeah.
But that's not what he thought that he was.
But see, again, there's a miscommunication
See,
there.
I think it's more so, I understand where you're coming from, but I think that's more so on Jeannie Buss. You're the boss, right? Kobe Bryant said you need to be Dany from Game of Thrones, the mother of dragons, or something like that, right? Then that's on you that you hired someone in that position. If you wanted Magic Johnson to be a part of the organization again, don't give him the VP title or president title. That's not what you want him for. You're putting that person in a position to fail, because the guy's basically telling you, I ain't gonna be here all day. I'm coming in 2 days a week. You good with that? And you turn around and say, yeah. Then when stuff doesn't work out the way you want it to work out, it's on you. It's not on him. You gave him the job.
But that's the problem. See, when you get with, when you have this whole thing of being we're family, and it's weird that I'm saying this with my cousin next to me, but but they weren't focused on the work. They were just like, oh, I'm Jeannie, you're my brother, Magic, you can do whatever you want. You're family, you can do whatever you want. Instead of just laying out the job to him, being like, yeah, this is what I need from you. And if we're going to succeed, you have to do this. You can't just be a representative and sure, you can knock on LeBron's door and woo him, but you have to do more than that. Day in, day out, you have to do more than that.
Yeah. Right.
Hearing all the drama with the family of the Busses and how they want to be a family-run business, it kind of reminds me of the Bears, how the Bears always talk about being a family-run business and all the dysfunction that they had for years and years. Do you guys kind of get a feel like that, where back when McCaskey's took over, and especially when Bill was running things and just running the organization into the ground, and there really wasn't anything you do, and all fans could hope for was they were going to sell? Are the Busses flirting with that territory at all? Are they getting there?
Nah, because the Bears couldn't bring in Peyton Manning back then. I mean, like, in some ways, I look at the Buss situation as being worse than some of the Bears, even though the Bears lasted forever. But the Bears didn't go out and just try to get a name and slap it on there and sell it. But that name brought in the best player in the NBA. So there's a difference there.
And they won recently. Within the past 10 years, they won a championship. So that's still there. And
that's a long time ago.
I mean,
it's a whole new generation.
But think about it though. The UC is still being full because of Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. That was in the 90s. So but
we don't have anything to do with Chicago compared to LA.
What?
We don't have anything to do in Chicago compared to LA.
What are you talking about?
I mean, they got year round. There's things to do. Here it's freezing.
Right.
Let's go to the
We're more devoted to it.
Yes, exactly. I mean, Chicago is
We're
more
not
so of a
distracted.
sports team, but I mean, we were still talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, not that long ago, like I said before, they was winning championships. Kobe Bryant just retired 4 years ago. 5 years ago? 5 years ago?
Time for Kobe to go to the hall.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost about that time. There's still something there, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's
3 years
I agree
ago,
with you, D. That
because it was-
standard should be higher regardless.
Yeah, but it's still you can still see the little bit of a limelight, and that's why I think it was a little bit easier. Also, too, the simple fact of Magic Johnson was able to get LeBron James to sign. I don't think the Bears could go out. I mean, they did get Khalil Mack, but it's a little bit different within the NBA.
What's funny though is that you compare and contrast the two teams. The Bears actually are more evolved now than the Lakers are, because the Bears, when you talk about back in the day, the Bears were like where the Lakers are now, where it's like we just want to deal with we just want to deal with people in the Bears family. Our coaches, our front office people, they have to be real Bear people. That's what the Lakers are doing now. Our front office people, our coaches or whatever, they have to be Lakers people. Instead of just going out and getting the most capable people to run your franchise. The Bears are doing that now with their coach, with their GM. They're not; those aren't people who came up through the Bears system. They are the most capable people to do the job. And the Bears are actually, like I say, more evolved than the Lakers are.
But you have the best player on the planet right now playing for you. At the tail of his career,
And they're going to screw it up.
Yeah, they probably will. They probably within the NBA, all you need is 2 to 3 great players, and you're going to win. And you have a chance. As we've said plenty of times, the Lakers were in 3rd or 4th place in the West before LeBron James went down.
As Magic said yesterday too.
Yeah, he made sure to
No,
say
he
that,
made sure. I mean, and it's factual though. That is factual. It's factual.
That Christmas game, they looked as good as any team in the West.
Yeah, you can do it in the NBA. You can do it in the NBA. And I also think he said too, they still have a chance to turn everything around and they'll be fine.
They
it's
have
possible.
to hope that one or two of these players in the next year or two is like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna jump out on faith, and I'm gonna carry LeBron's water, and I'm gonna do what I got to do.
I mean, if it's more than 1 year, AD will be there.
Yeah,
possibly, yeah.
But I mean, it'd be sad that LeBron is aging, waiting. I mean, like, who else would they bring? Like, it'd be, how messed up it'll be if they acquire some talent and have to leave a cap slot open or flexibility open and be like, yeah, this year we gonna be good and in the playoffs, but we can't contend. It's like, damn, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, bro. You went 8 years in a row. I know Brian is like, hey, y'all can keep them finals. Like, I went 8 years in a row, man. I'm tired. I only got 3 out of it.
Right.
Deuces.
Yeah.
Hey, based on his the episode of The Shop, he was like, man, I'm still in championship mode. He said, I'm not for this rebuilding. And that's where all the rumors start swirling, talking about, will they possibly trade him? But you look at the NBA free agents, if it was me personally, I would rather go to the Lakers than go to the New York Knicks. That's just me. I mean, I don't know if it's lifestyle, whatever like that, but I would rather deal with Jeannie Buss than Dolan.
You're just a Tupac fan over Biggie.
Is, well, never. Hey, today's Biggie's birthday. Watch him out.
Actually, I am, but okay.
It says a lot.
I'm just saying.
It says a whole lot.
Nah.
But
I love Biggie.
This is the thing. If from what we hear, Dolan stopped putting his handprint on this team when he gave it to Phil, and that Mills and Fizdale basically have run of the team. So going to the biggest market that hasn't won. I mean, the luster of New York is this. I don't trust it. If you get one, it's nothing. I can get that point. But if you get one, you are a dog, man. Listen, Walt Frazier is still walking around with funny colored suits on out there, bro. Like, you get one in the basketball crazy New York, dog, they still love Melo. Just think about that. There's still New York fans to be like, man, Melo, it wasn't on Melo, right? And I'm not saying it was all on Melo, but still we know that Melo only gave so much effort to a certain degree, right?
They kind of remind me of the Cubs with 1908 being the thing, like 1973.
Yeah.
1973.
That's a real thing.
And so
it's real.
The lust, to
Willis Reed.
to go with you, though,
still get love.
you know how I feel about LA. For me, I would
You'd rather go to play for the Knicks.
No, I would prefer to be in Los Angeles to a certain degree, even though I would love to summit New York. I think there's something to summiting the Knicks, if you can do it, like, dude, you're like, do you know the amount of money you can make after your career in New York if you bring a title? And you are the authority on bringing titles to that city.
Derek Jeter.
But this is another kicker. If for instance, like this is a menu with two free agents, I'm Durant, you're Kyrie, and we're sitting here talking, and
Why
we're
I
like,
gotta be a flat earther?
because you're shorter.
What I gotta do with anything?
So you Kyrie, I'm tall, I'm Durant. So, but this is the thing, we're talking. And we're like, yeah, let's do this, and we can summit New York together, or we got to go play in LeBron's shadow. Right. And it gets to the point of, one, I don't want to win a title and LeBron gets most of the credit. And two, what KD said about it, and I don't, that people have talked about it, and maybe he didn't mean it, but it being toxic around LeBron, just a lot to handle with the media. Basically, very rarely do they blame LeBron for what's taking place. It's usually he doesn't have enough help. So it's kind of like, I can go to New York to the Big Apple and do my thizzle, or maybe I can go out here with LeBron in the West and we can just be a Lakers team that's straight. Right. Like, think about it. Who really remembers the Nick Van Exel Lakers teams? Like those really try-hard teams. They had some talent, but they didn't have supreme talent on there. The Lakers, like you said, are about winning titles.
Yeah, they are.
And so
They
you
are.
can be
They
lost
are.
in the sauce out there if you don't bring home a title. You can be a forgotten player.
I mean, but we do know that this is the tail end of LeBron James' career, though.
But he's averaging 28 points.
Right. That don't mean he's going to set.
And he's great. That means I can go out there and possibly win a championship.
But I want my name to be of the first billing.
Yeah, that's why we gotta look like Ken. You broke it down well. We gotta look at these guys who are available. Like
Who won titles too.
They already won titles.
Yeah,
That's true.
and you know, maybe Kyrie, because of what he went through in Boston, maybe he's more on the reconciliation thing. But that's a big maybe.
It's word coming out saying that he won't no part.
Oh, he gonna mess
LA.
up in Boston and run back to Bron.
Yeah, right.
Listen,
right.
It's coming out saying that he's not going back to LeBron.
If the meme of
That's
Vlade
what I would believe more.
running into Magic Johnson's arm in the 91 finals doesn't pop up when he runs back to LeBron like that, like, dude, like if he like, oh my, and then
But you know what? It would be the right thing to do.
All right, you know what? We're gonna switch off and talk a little baseball. D&D Davis Show.
Yo, what's up? This is Rashid Hadi, and you're listening to the D and Davis Show. Yeah.
D and Davis Show, and right now from 670 Score Studios, right now on the line we have Gabe Lacques joining us from USA Today. Gabe, how are you doing?
Doing real well. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
We're doing good, Dave. We're doing good. I mean, Gabe, I looked at some of your articles, and I definitely want to get into some of that, but I had a question for you first, and it was about the Joe Madden going after Sean Doolittle and his toe tap. And I wanted to know your opinion as far as, was it an issue, as Doolittle said, to get in his head, or was Joe Madden doing it because of what took place with Carl Edwards Jr. in spring training?
Probably a little bit of both. You know, if it's a win-win for Madden, might as well take a run at it. But yeah, I think Madden is sincere when he says he's backing this guy. If he can do that at a time when it might perhaps disrupt the opposing team's closer in a tight game, maybe all the better. So it's I think Doolittle is probably right to stand his ground there and kind of intimate that he doesn't necessarily want to be pushed around by the opposing manager. But at the same time, I think Madden's got a pretty legitimate point that there needed to be kind of some consistency or some clarity, and the fact that his guy was singled out after going all the way through spring training with no issue with it. It's certainly a valid beef on his part.
Do you think with the leadoff spot for the Cub that it really matters since they lead the National League on base average as a team?
Yeah, it kind of doesn't. It's crazy. The top half dozen group in that lineup is just punishing, and I think Schwarber's not a bad call there, just because he's still getting on base at a 340-ish kind of clip, and you definitely want some table setting for the guys that come. I mean, you get down into that Bryant, Rizzo, Contreras, Baez area. It's just a tall task for a pitcher. So it's I don't want to say incidental maybe who hits leadoff, but certainly it's not not something to stress out too much over, just because they have so many good options, and really it's more about the guys that follow.
D and Davis on the line right now. We have Gabe Lacques from USA Today. Follow him at Gabe Lacques. Gabe, real quick before D chimes in, I enjoyed your article on Chris Bryant, and one of the things when you see the return of form that he's had, and I just have to worry about some mental pressure applied to himself. And I know Chris Bryant kind of keeps it undercover, but when you look at the fact that Arenado, Bryce Harper, and Mike Trout got signed, and he's clearly one of the next guys up, does that factor in at all, or is it one of those things that he's oblivious to it and he's just trying to be the best baseball player as possible right now?
It's interesting because he's very conscious of it, and he's become, the past couple springs I've talked to him about labor issues and stuff like that, and he, he's very, very aware. And certainly, actually happened to be in Cubs camp the day after Arenado signed, and he was not displeased by the amount of money that Arenado got, certainly. But, he's a really interesting test case because he got, hosed out of a year of service time when they suppressed his debut at the start of the 2015 season. And now suddenly, in the years since, major league teams have devalued older players significantly. And so suddenly, if you're Chris Bryant, a couple of years ago, you didn't worry about anything. You knew you were going to cash in. Now you look up, and thanks to the fact that they basically stole a year of service time from him, he's going to be a free agent, I think, when he's 29. And that's suddenly not, not the catbird seat it used to be. Now he's a special player, and I think he's going to get paid. And, I think he's the kind of guy that can compartmentalize to where, deep down he's concerned about, what his future might hold, but he's also, I think, mentally strong enough to be able to kind of put that aside and just kind of focus on baseball and know that that'll take care of itself at some point over the next 3 years, whether that's with the Cubs or with another team.
Gabe, you was at the game last night covering the Cubs and the Nationals. One of the things that's really hopping out to at least all the Cubs fans up here in Chicago and maybe around the world is the bullpen issues. What should be their level of concern right now with the bullpen?
It's not bad relative to other teams. You look around. I mean, the entire National League East, which was supposed to be this great 4-team race. I mean, everybody's got bullpen issues there. The Braves, they don't even have their original closer to start the season, Vizcaino, anymore. The Nationals, beyond Doolittle, are an absolute mess, giving up more eighth-inning runs than any other team. The Phillies have a different guy every night, and they're, they obviously, you saw they're a pretty decent team, and they're kind of slowly pulling away with the NL East. I mean, that's just one division. It's a problem for a lot of teams, and I think for now, mixing and matching is okay. The other night, Steve Cishek's outing was really impressive to go 2 1/3 innings to close that out when they were a bit on the line there. Brad Brock obviously tried to get it done last night, could not get it done. So they maybe don't have the depth that they would like, and obviously Pedro Strop being healthy would help a good bit. But I think it's good enough to not hurt them in the short term, and then I think they should be able to find somebody on the trade market come July. In fact, getting back to your original question, that man, Mr. Doolittle, right now, if you're a Cub fan, you want to root against certain teams, and one of those teams would be the Nationals, because if they fall out of contention, Sean Doolittle would be a pretty decent trade chip for them. So I don't think their bullpen problems are so bad as to panic about now, and are nothing that couldn't be fixed come July 31st.
D and Davis show on the line with us right now. Gabe Lacques covering baseball for USA Today. One of the biggest things is sticking with pitching has been Yu Darvish. He's kind of turned his season around, at least coming from last year. I wasn't a big proponent of them signing him, but just talk about the simple fact of how you need someone like a Darvish to be able to stay in this, and I believe, 3-team race right here in the NL Central.
Yeah, it's really one of the most remarkable things to observe. I mean, the fact that he hasn't yet won a game at Wrigley Field is kind of amazing. And I know that there's some randomness to it, and of course the significant injuries, time missed because of injury last year. It's just kind of worked out that way. But you're seeing the signs. He's coming. He pitched really well last night against that Phillies lineup is really tough because in Harper, McCutchen, Hoskins, and Real Muto, those are guys who see a ton of pitches. McCutchen and Harper, I believe, are 1-2 in the National League in walks. So for Darvish to navigate almost unscathed through 6 innings, and not walk the farm and not put them out of the game, and really leave them with a chance to win the game. Just couldn't quite escape that 6th inning there. But to me that was impressive, and that was a very good sign, because obviously the control and command issues he's had, in addition to the health issues, it's eventually that signing is going to pay off. And I know you'd rather see it on the shorter term of the 6 years, and for more bang for the $130 million than you would hope. But it's going to happen for him. He's too talented. He's too athletic of a guy. He's got too good of a track record, too good of an arm. I don't want to necessarily say that last night's outing was definitely like the next step towards something. I mean, sometimes these things don't totally move in a linear fashion. But I agree with you. I think an arm like his is important for a team that can, a guy that can go in and give you 7 innings with a lot of punch outs and dominate the guy next to them. This is the thing. The Cubs operate on a different plane. They're expected to go to the playoffs every year now, and they've pretty much done that since 2015. So the fact that, he's a potential shutdown guy in a playoff pennant situation is, that's a positive. You can't have too many of those guys. And, that investment is going to pay off at some point, and it could be even on the sooner end.
Dan Davis on the line, Gabe Lacques from USA Today. Gabe, let me ask you this. You've written an article on baseball's attendance drop, and you also factored in that teardowns have hurt baseball. Outside of teardowns, what else is factoring into the low attendance? And with both, as far as eliminating teardowns or tanking, basically, how can baseball ramp this back up and get more people through the gates?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm at a Yankees-Orioles game right now. It's a beautiful night in Baltimore, 71 degrees. The Yankees are in town. They usually draw well, and I don't think they're going to get more than 16,000, 17,000 tonight, which is pretty crazy for for the Yankees coming in. Not necessarily in their backyard, but not too far away. It's a very complicated situation. There's a lot of individual market factors that factor in, and I think. Just sort of like make a long story short, I think they really need to maybe cut ticket prices significantly in a lot of markets. You've got to get fans into the ballpark. And I think, teams don't really need attendance. They could take the stance of not caring so much about fans coming to the park because they make so much money off TV revenue. But the long term, I don't think that's a really good strategy, because I think the best way to create baseball fans and to maintain baseball fans is, number one, to get people playing the game as kids, and number two, to get them to the ballpark, just because that's a way to establish connections to eventually make them want to watch on TV. And ultimately, and this is very long term, I'm talking over the next 20, 30 years, ultimately that's the biggest thing for baseball, is to be able to maintain TV viewers, to kind of keep these TV contracts propped up, even though that industry obviously is getting significantly disrupted as well. But I think you got to get people into the ballpark, and I think you have to create some pretty deep motivations to do so. And you hear a lot of complaints about prices, and I certainly understand that. And some stadiums are harder to get into than others. Some stadiums, the secondary market is better. But I think overall, industry-wide, they really need to take a look at price points and how do we get people to come spend their money here. And I think the step number one is get them into the ballpark and make it as easy and as affordable as possible.
Hey, Gabe, would in-stadium gambling get more butts into the seats in baseball?
That's a really interesting, uncharted territory. And I think it'll help, but I also think it's not necessarily a really strong long-term ally necessarily. It will get interest in the game. I mean, let's be honest, 60% of interest in the NFL is probably gambling, be it regular gambling against the point spread or fantasy football, obviously. Mm-hmm. But, it's tough. Number one, gambling on baseball is really hard and kind of confusing. It's not as simple as, okay, the Bears need to beat the Falcons by at least 3 points, and I win. It's you got odds and all this other stuff, and also, I mean, unless you're a pro gambler, you're going to lose a few times at gambling and realize, man, this is kind of a bummer, and I don't have enough money to eat. So, it will stimulate interest, but ultimately I don't think it's going to be a cure-all, just because gambling on sports is really difficult.
Well, we have to get a Sox question before you get out of here. You written an article on Tim Anderson and his fight against the fun police and how he's good for baseball. But I have a question. When you're going around and talking to other clubhouses, and of course people may like his antics, may not like his antics, what are people saying actually about the development of his play and the adjustments he made and how either they're going to be long-lasting or he's still going to have to make more adjustments to kind of keep up some – he won't keep up the numbers he had at the beginning of the season, but to kind of become the all-star player that we're hoping he will be here in Chicago?
Yeah, his development's been really interesting. It's been maybe a little steadier than we would have thought if you look closely at his numbers. The one thing that, in fact, I didn't make it into my story, but the one thing that kind of amuses and also alarms me is I brought up his walk rate because, the guy never takes a walk. And basically I'm like, are you concerned about this at all? And he's like, I don't care. And I was like, whoa, okay. Because it's really hard to survive in this game just on batting average. You have to hit basically 350 to be a really great player if you're not going to draw any walks. So that's I don't know if that's an adjustment he's going to have to make eventually, but the guy plays the game really hard and he brings it every night. And I think that's something that is really going to kind of draw people to him even more. He swings hard, he runs hard, he really gets after it in the field. So I think if he can maintain that level of effort, then everything else is going to fall into place. And he's still a young guy, so I think I don't know if he'll ever be a superstar necessarily. I think he might have years where he hits 260, and he might have years where he hits 330. Mm-hmm. But I think with the overall effort and consistency there, and just the tweaks in his game. He's much better base runner and base stealer than he was. He's gotten much better defensively. So, he's going in the right direction. And I think, we're getting to a point here, maybe this year, maybe next year, the year after, where he'll find that level and he'll keep it. And that's going to really be something to see.
Gabe, thanks for hopping on with us and enjoy that game tonight.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Gabe.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's cooling off a bit, but I'll be all right. And I appreciate the time.
It's warmer there than it is here in Chicago.
So enjoy it.
That's what I hear. I don't envy the Cubs, man. It was 83 in D.C. They had to go back to 40-degree temps, man. I don't know how you make those adjustments. That's a bummer.
Especially in baseball.
Yeah, that's true.
Gabe, you have a good one.
Thanks, Gabe.
You too. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
And that was Gabe Lacques right there from USA Today covering baseball, D and Davis Show. Make sure you follow Gabe on Twitter at Gabe Lacques. That's LACQUES. All right, coming up next, we're going to go to Up for Grabs with one Mr. Ryan Bukoveski. All right, D and Davis Show.
Yo, what up? It's your man Jay Illa, official Chicago Bears DJ, and you are listening to the D and Davis Show. Turn it up.
D and Davis Show. Hey, listen, man. This segment right here is getting all the love in the streets.
Women are like taking off their clothes when they see this.
Who is Ryan?
The bearded one.
I don't even need to see his face. I hear his voice.
Oh, stroke this beard, girl. Oh, stroke this beard. It's time to go up for grabs. One Ryan, Mr. Ryan Bukoveski. Ryan, what you got for us?
Kevin Durant has been back on social media, guys. I don't know. I'm going to look here at the tweets. Chris Broussard of Fox Sports was talking about whether if the Warriors win the title without KD, does that diminish his 2 rings? Kevin Durant came in there first. He tweeted a little exaggeration there. My worst nightmare? Are you sure that's the worst I can get? Someone responded to him, calm down, I know you're sensitive. And he goes, you're right, let me chill before my sensitivity flares up.
Let's start off with some NBA. The Warriors have been on a tear ever since Kevin Durant went down with an injury and have had many people questioning what the Warriors should do about the makeup of their team moving forward. So simply, how far should the Warriors go in trying to re-sign Kevin Durant in the summer?
I'd still do it.
I think what we've heard.
How hard should they go in pursuing?
I think they're going to go hard. I mean, we've heard the Splash Brothers are going to be kept together. I think they'll go hard, but what you hear is that they already feel like they've showed him their promise. Like, listen, this is the best run organization in basketball, if not one in sports. You've seen what we're going to do. We're going to this new arena over in the better area of the Bay.
He was over there.
If they're kind of accepting that if he leaves, it's not them, it's what his desire is. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, of course, if he will take their money, they will offer it to him. But I think...
What can they offer him? Can they offer him a Supermax?
Hell yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Just
want to make sure.
wait, I forget how it goes when it's not the team that drafted you. But still, they have his Larry Bird rights. So they can definitely still pay him extra season that another team can't pay. And he's also got his, 5, 10, whatever because that was why initially when he got there, he kept doing the 1-year deals till he had enough years served to where he can take up, I think it's 30% of the cap, 35% of the amount of cap that the team has for that one player. So he can do that. They're going to do everything they can, but I mean, you see that, hey, looking at what they're doing, this is a question I have as far as anybody out there, the narrative on the West Coast with the Bay Area. We've kind of gotten a preview of what next year would be like. If and when he leaves, and this small sample size, of course, it looks successful. I don't know if we're foolish enough to think they're better without him. I don't believe that. I mean, with him, they're the most talented team I've ever seen. With him,
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
To me, they're the most talented team. I don't think because I think it was a punk move. Him going, not a punk, but I think it cheapened his legacy. I won't say that it's his decision where he wants to go. But when you add him to an already great team, and he's one of the rarest basketball players ever.
True unicorn.
Yeah, so it's like who can really, if we're saying what team can take them on, I mean, you got to lean towards the Golden State, especially depending on how the rules or what type of rules we're using. But still looking at it, it seems like that the team is fault to say that, we're doing this for KD. And I wonder just as far as with them, when does that question start getting tired that you have to keep being like, yeah, we're doing this, and you're suppressing some of your happiness? Because clearly they have to be excited to know that they still got it.
I think that's the biggest point. I think they will definitely offer him, if they can, a supermax. Like, hey, man, listen, we can give you the money, we can give you the most money, go ahead and stay. But just to let you know, you go anywhere else and you think you're going to get the Larry O'Brien trophy, think again, young man. This team it's in a time capsule for real. They turn back the hands of time, and albeit, yes, it's Portland, but they walked them down in 3 games when he had, would you say, Kyle, at least a 17-point lead?
Yeah, at least.
Walked them down.
It's really not a lot.
Walked them down. It's not a lot going to
Golden
Golden
State team.
That's my point.
Because really, you had to be up by old Golden State team, 20-point deficit is nothing.
But think about this, though. The games that they blew, the games they had the lead and they blew, or they didn't catch up, whatever like that, or catch up to that team, KD was playing. They went back to old school Golden State basketball. And as you said, a 17-point lead, man, that's 5 shots for us. And then you know what you're going to do? We're going to put defense on you. And then you know what we're going to do? We're going to have the Splash Brothers outshoot you. And then you know what we're going to do? We're going to have Draymond basically be the point guard and run everything through him, and then you really can't stop us. That's the team that we're watching again. And he has to see this like, damn, okay, they don't need me. And if I go somewhere else, I probably won't win again. Is it ego for me going somewhere and having my name in the lights, as we said before, in New York, wherever the case may be? Or do I stay here and keep winning these championships? That has to be the thoughts that's running through his head.
You really think he thinks they don't need him? Because in social media, clearly he doesn't think that. Because it's been at least 2 times where people have said something to that fact that he basically said, get the hell out of here. I
wouldn't think anybody with his elite talent and ego would think that somebody didn't need him. Of course he's going to think that they need him.
They're not a better team with him?
I think he's a cherry on top. He is the fresh wax on a brand new Maserati.
They lost to the Cavaliers.
For one play, and they had just won 73-9, and they ran through the playoffs. It was one shot.
But
it was one shot.
Before, if LeBron had a healthy Kyrie, he wins the finals the first time.
And if they had Draymond Green in that finals,
I'm not arguing, but I'm just saying he's more than just gloss and the cherry on top. They're
to
unbeatable.
A 73 team, a 73 win team.
I think it's weak, but I'm still saying having
Take
perhaps
out the weak part.
I'm just saying he's more than the cherry on top. I mean, because you got to remember this. Steph Curry and Clay can, and it's not just because KD is there, they can disappear in the playoffs. What KD and his isolation provided was when it happened, and perhaps it let them slack off, you had the answer to it taking place.
They had already
Steph has never been great really in the playoffs. Consistently.
I agree with that. But even though he hasn't been great in the playoffs consistently, although we don't think he should have done this, received the award, he got 2 unanimous MVPs.
They are both unanimous.
Both of them. I think both of them are, aren't they?
I don't think so.
Nah,
I think one of them.
just
one of them? I
him.
thought he had both of them. Okay, fine then. Fine. One
That
of them.
totally hurts your argument.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. You got 2-time MVP. They just won a championship. They had just won 73
And they went and
games.
begged him. They went and begged him to come there. Think about this.
Yeah, they were
They went
recruiting
and
him.
begged him, and we knew all year long he was
because
heading
you know
there.
why?
And they were winning.
Because they could, and they knew they had the opportunity to add Kevin Durant to their team. And as we are seeing, with Kevin Durant not being on the floor, they are still dominant.
But they ain't.
Dominant.
They haven't really faced
They're going to
anyone.
5 finals in a row.
They haven't faced. I'm not saying they're not dominant. Let's go back to looking at this team initially. There were factors that when it came to half court in the playoffs, you can somewhat stifle them. Even last year, we saw how people going at Steph's handle earlier on. When you look at what Houston did and how they attacked Steph. I'm just saying that we've seen that, and KD was the neutralizer. So just to be like, well, yeah, KD's hit. Like, KD takes them from being an all-time team to arguably, again, to me, the most talented team ever.
I think they probably are the most talented team ever. But even before he got there, now I'm not saying they would have with the 5 finals in a row, but that team, the way it's constructed, that's an all-time team.
I'm not denying that, but think about it. They lose to LeBron, and they go out instead of like, man, you know what? All we needed was like another cartridge of ammo. They went out and got a nuclear launcher
because they had. No, not because they had to. Because they could. Because they could. It fell within their hands.
But they also felt that they needed it. I mean, people aren't going to hurt their legacy as far as their individual stats just for the hell of it. They did it based off of, you know what? Right now, we're tit for tat with LeBron. We get him, no one's beating us.
As Draymond said to KD on the bench, we won before you got here. You can bounce.
And then guess what? You met me at the Hamptons. After you did that, you flew out to find me.
But now they're on their way, and they just swept the Western Conference Finals. Something people did not think was going to happen.
I could have told
they
you. They
swept them. Nobody thought they was going to get. They thought they was going to sweep Portland.
Whoa.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that people thought Portland was going to win.
They got swept the last 2 first rounds.
This Portland team, everybody thought they was going to get swept
against Golden State.
Did people think that Golden State was going to sweep Portland?
You may have thought they could take. Wait. You may have thought.
I'm saying sweep.
But listen, just wait. You may have thought maybe Portland could take one game because Golden State sometimes takes a game off anyway. But once you saw game 1, it was like, oh damn, this is a sweep. It was no question after the first game.
Listen,
you didn't think that after the first game?
That they was going to sweep them?
Yes.
They just had 3 17-point leads in 3 games.
No. I said the first game. You're talking about the last 3. The first game, they beat the crap out of them. What are you talking about? I said after the first game.
And in the next 3, Portland had 17-point leads.
This was your question. Did we believe that they would sweep them? I'm telling you, and it's not just me. Nationwide, you heard people basically saying, oh, yeah, they're going to sweep them after they buked the hell out of them the first.
That.
I did.
I never heard they was
Has anybody, you didn't hear that?
I mean, yeah, the first game was key in changing the outlook of the series. But before the series, y'all kind of talking about 2 different things. Before the series, I think the majority of people gave Portland at least 1 game because of the momentum they had from the first 2 series. But like you said, after the first game, a lot changed. So,
matchup-wise, Portland didn't have enough for regular Golden State. So, I mean, and this isn't a knock on Portland. Like, one thing when I can't...
Lillard didn't play out of his funk.
Yeah, and maybe he was hurt.
He may have been hurt. May have been seriously hurt.
But there were teams... One thing that's best, I hate when people dissing this playoff run because LeBron's not there. I think it's great. I do too.
I think it's great.
I saw teams grow in ways that if you're an old NBA fan, it makes you feel good about the future because you see perhaps rivalries, even though we're probably not going to get Toronto, Philly in the future because 2 of those players on both of those teams may not be there.
Wasn't Jimmy in Chicago?
Yeah, whatever.
But Jimmy's coming back, everybody.
But still, when you look at Milwaukee skipping a learning lesson that we usually see in, all right, you finally get through and make your noise like what Portland did, and they're taking that all the way to the finals probably. You know, like if
possible.
Yeah, so there's usually in the NBA you got to get your face smacked and then you take that next step.
Yeah.
So to see all these teams and to go to Portland, no, Portland exceeded what we expected to a certain degree if you were going off of their past failures.
And they were without a starting center.
Yeah.
They were dealing with a lot.
Oh, they did a whole lot. They did.
Matchup wise,
they had a great season.
Matchup wise, I mean, they weren't built to beat this team. And even if we just look at Portland, who is? No, but Portland's biggest value and asset are their backcourt. Mm-hmm. That also happens to be Golden State's, and Golden State's is way better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just physically because
bigger
one of them
better.
is 6'7".
Yeah,
it's kind of like the series was basically the Curry thing represented the series. It was Big Brother versus Little Brother.
Good point, Cal.
I would say just quickly, I think the Warriors have shown that they don't need to go all the way. I would probably lean with you, Ken. You're going to give your offer, but you're going to say, hey, we have shown you what we're about. If you want to be a part of this, be a part of this.
Right. That's what I want to jump into the original points. I think what we're talking about mostly is what the team feels amongst each other. And there's a certain chemistry that team, in spite of KD and what he wants, they've still built that for each other, a certain chemistry. But I don't know if the front office is going to be as, if they're going to be as sentimental about it as the team is. I think the front office maybe they maybe be like, we could, like you just said, Ryan, we could take or leave them. So a lot of it's gonna depend
what Draymond
on
said.
Like I said.
Yeah, a lot of it's gonna. You said we cannot fail to give you credit, kid. But a lot of it
is. Give me mine. When you said Ryan said,
I'm pretty sure
I'm going with you, kid. Then you like Ryan. You are. Is it because he's white?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I got it. You're right.
He matches the walls.
Yeah. White is always
right.
But don't be off. But
his manifest destiny up in his place. I found the Golden State
Go
Warriors.
West, young
the
man.
Golden State Warrior was here already.
But yeah, well, look, they like I said, they can say we can take it or leave it, and they may prioritize taking care of two of their guys, again, their homegrown guys, Clay and Draymond. So it's going to be interesting how they prioritize KD against, maybe having to give up one of those guys, and what is that going to mean to them and their fan base if they have to make that decision?
Personally, for me, I came here to be a part of the Lakers organization, having a conversation with Magic and really kind of breaking it down and saying how we was going to make this Showtime again. And I wanted to be a part of that process. And he kind of explained to me year one is going to be tough. And year one is going to be tough. We're a young crew, but we're going to do what we got to do this year. We're going to see how well we can perform this year. And obviously injuries kind of this year, but we all knew that it was going to be kind of tough. But I was okay with the process. Which at year 16, you ain't really supposed to be worried about no damn process, especially for me, because I'm in championship mind mode all the time. So it was just weird for him to just be like, nah, I'm out of here. And not even have no hey, Bron, kiss my ass. I'm out of here. At least I would have been okay with that. Hey, Bron, it's Magic, kiss my ass, I'm gone.
Keeping on the basketball court, after all the revealings on First Take of the Lakers' dysfunction with Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka and the Lakers' front office and ownership, real simple question for LeBron James. What do you guys think his future career as a Laker will be? Will it be a disappointment?
It all depends on if he's able to, and if they are able to, get more talent. I mean, talking about grade A talent to come to Los Angeles. I think the West is really good.
Do you think that's going to happen, though?
I don't know. From the sounds of it, no. Based on First Take, Stephen A. Smith is saying that Kyrie Irving, people want to come out and say right now he is not trying to play with LeBron James. I think the Clippers are a real threat in L.A., and Kawhi said he basically want to go play in L.A., not necessarily the Clippers. You have Anthony Davis, but now you have David Griffin down there basically being able to say, hey, NBA, give me your best offer. Yeah. So it's not necessary that he has to send him out to LA. He can basically send him anywhere. So it all depends on the talent, man. Listen, this is a stars league. And right now, he does not have the stars to beat probably the top 3 or 4 teams in the West. even though they was the top 3 or 4 team around Christmas. They're not better than, I think I can say this. I don't think they're better than Portland as a team. They're definitely not better than Golden State. I don't think they would have beat Houston. That's 3 teams right there.
I don't know about Portland.
You think the Lakers could have beat Portland in the playoff?
As
series?
constructed.
Holiday Lakers.
Yeah, as constructed.
Holiday Lakers with they were playing it earlier on in the season. Man, listen, you get LeBron really, really rolling. Cause
he's a one-man game right
there. That's
there.
the thing.
Sure,
like, you get LeBron really rolling like that, yeah,
Problem? Okay.
Dame and them are gonna give him some, but I'm not gonna go again. I'm talking about the players around LeBron, how they were playing at that time. If LeBron has that with him, I can't just go against him for Portland. Again, I'm just stopping at Portland.
I feel
anybody else I could go along with.
But one thing that we haven't figured out though is enough is LeBron's health. And what would that have been if he had to play another 100-game season? Mm-hmm. He might have been worn down, really worn down at this point.
I mean, you look at that injury. This is his first significant injury. So to answer your question, do I think it's going to be a successful stint in LA? I don't think so. I don't think he should have. I'm wrong. But I don't think he should have left Cleveland. I think he should have stayed in Cleveland.
He wasn't going to shoot Space Jam 2.
No, he wasn't. But
he wasn't going to stay with Dan Gilbert.
But Dan Gilbert, yeah. I mean, he went down Gilbert.
He's going to watch LA. Started pulling the money too.
But look at but looking at the dysfunction, I think where you're bringing up in this question in LA. Man, listen, I have a feeling that he didn't think that this was going to be happening out in Los Angeles, and I don't know if he's regretting it now. And he doesn't have like a no trade clause in his contract. I don't know if he will go to Jennings like, man, listen, this ain't working. You need to move me. I guess it's a possibility. So maybe he won't end his career in LA. I don't know. But it ain't looking good right now.
You can't force trade LeBron James. Like
if he come to you and say, hey, move me, you wouldn't do it?
No. I'm saying because he has a no trade clause means the team can do what they like.
Right, true. Right,
but I don't think they have more leverage than they would if he had the no trade clause. But because it's LeBron James, it's not the same as a regular star without that power.
Oh, of course not.
Because LeBron can be like, I'll retire on you. Like all LeBron has to put out feelers is I'll retire on your ass if you give them whatever they're asking for.
But as I said though, if it's not going well and he can see it, the dude's a very smart guy. If he can see, like, man, listen, this is not working out, and based on what he said on the shop, I'm still in championship mode. I'm not trying to sit here and raise these kids. Because Frank Vogel, what? He's a good guy to defense. Jason Kidd is top assistant. He's good at what? Developing players. He ain't trying to be around nobody trying to play any players. I mean, trying to upgrade players or trying to train them up. So if I'm LeBron James and I come to you and you're Jenny Buss, and I say trade me, you're not going to trade me?
I'm going to sit down and wait. We got to talk about it. Jeannie's not going to just give away her best asset that he can depreciate what she gets back. So one, they will have to work together anyway to get it done for any team to feel like LeBron is really, really down with them moving forward. So, I mean, again, but then we have to talk about box office. You heard Magic say the numbers going through the gates.
They making hand over fist money.
Yeah, so
the NBA is so lucrative right now.
So I mean, and the viewership went up. You know, jersey sales. They had the #1 jersey in the league this year. So like, you're not just gonna squander. You're not gonna go back to a rebuilding Lakers team for the hell of it when you got one of the biggest attractions in the NBA.
He's the only thing that makes them an elite. Possibly an elite franchise.
If they don't get any top stars, but they don't get any top stars.
Let's look at it from LeBron too, though. LeBron decided to finish his career in LA, meaning he has long-standing thoughts of living his life partially as an LA, right? He doesn't want to build a terrible narrative out there. And look, one narrative maybe better is I went down fighting for y'all, even though if I'm not Kobe, compared to I came in and basically I was like, man, get me the hell up out of here. Y'all don't know what the hell y'all doing. Yeah. Like just to sit there and satisfy the fan base who still hasn't necessarily all glommered onto him. Because at least he has to ride it out for 2 years to find out how it's going. I'm with you though. If they suck, it will get to a point where, but it'll be justifiable around the league and around the nation. And we hear about LeBron controlling the narrative. The narrative will be like, LeBron's too good to be with y'all. But before then, I think he's going to kind of stay down, even if he doesn't necessarily want to.
That's a good point. Because the thing is, he really is a LA guy now.
Yeah.
And it's like he can't just abandon that because he's going to go back there and that's where he's going to play. Like you said, that's where he's going to play out his after basketball life. So he would be downgraded in a way, if not across the nation, at least in that area, if he didn't bring them the title that they
He
wanted.
not even Elgin Baylor.
Yes.
Dude, he ain't bringing them no
They
time.
be like Nipsey Russell. You ain't a T. They be like Elgin, you missed out on that championship. Elgin should have stayed that whole year. Like he won't even be better than me. And I'm disrespecting Elgin Baylor by saying this. How he was the first above the rim star for the Lakers.
Yeah, Elgin, yeah,
But
bad.
still, when you think about the annals of the Lakers, because he didn't win a title, you don't hear people mention one of the first Skywalkers in Elgin Baylor and his career. LeBron being they're shorter, but again, he's LeBron James. It'd be a footnote to a certain degree.
They're not winning no championship.
To me, I think it's 4 kind of like milestones for LeBron. This free agency, this draft, trade deadline, and next year's free agency. Because you can't be good enough, you can't be bad enough to get a top 5 draft pick.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So you should only have 1 draft, 2 free agencies, and a trade deadline to get this thing rolling. If we come back a year from now and it's 0 for 4 on that, I don't think there's any chance that there's a championship and this doesn't end in disappointment.
He won't be a Laker.
It won't be 0 for 4 though. I mean, the thing is
even if it's Kemba Walker, is that a 1?
But see, they'll trade. So this is amazing. Let's look at it like this: if they strike out, and the real question is the Anthony Davis door closed?
Right.
Because if it's not closed, they're going to leave some type. They may not be just cap space, but they're going to either have players signed that they can either release or move, and contracts will be easy for another team to digest to open up a slot for Anthony Davis.
But is that saying that Anthony Davis is not going to be on the Pelicans because he's probably going to be traded before the end of the
No, that's what I'm saying.
season.
But
So it depends on where he goes.
But it depends on if they can re-sign Anthony Davis.
Oh, I think they'd be able to sign him.
No.
The Lakers?
Not the Lakers. We're talking about if he goes to another team.
Okay, I follow you.
So that's one of the big questions. Are they going to wait for Anthony Davis? And you can't be mad at them because it's Anthony Davis. So are they going to wait a year for Anthony Davis, and will he wait for them is a big question. But then to your part, like the Kemba, what they're going to do is it may not be Kawhi, that they end up getting out of this. They may get the second tier player, a Jimmy Butler-esque player, but also in trades, they're going to go after someone like what's the name with the
Beal.
Thank you, Bradley Beal. They're going to go after Bradley Beal. Like they're going to use if the Pelicans don't want these players, they're going to use those assets to bring in some type of shooter or somebody around LeBron. And then can you really say, man, even though they didn't get the name brand talent, you give LeBron those players, if he's healthy, they're going to be good. Again, I didn't say great. I didn't say they're the odds-on favorite.
At least have a chance.
Yeah, but I mean, compared to what he did last year by Christmas with guys who basically were in diapers when he started playing in the NBA, that think about him with known dogs as far as guys that can try to go out there and get it.
There was a lot of emotion there, it seemed like, with Arietta, for him, for some of the fans. Did you have any? Was there any extra there for you?
No. Just so first at bat, when he show up, I know the fans will do a standing ovation. That's why take our time to. That's it.
Let's move it over now to the baseball diamond. And for Chicago Cubs baseball, they had a pretty eventful Monday as former Cubs Cy Young winner Jake Arrieta returned to Chicago with the Phillies to take on his replacement in Yu Darvish and the Cubs. Both pitchers pitched to a no decision, and the question is, should Cubs fans feel better about Yu Darvish's future on the Cubs now?
Yes, but it's not a lot. You can't feel that much better. D did not like the deal to sign him. I did, because for 6 years you got him cheap, and I was basically like, if you get 3 good years out of 6 with baseball, if you're not roiding up, that's, especially with a pitcher, you can't be upset about that for 120 when David Price just got a $200 and something million deal, or Chris Sale just got 180 or whatever. So no, you can't necessarily say you feel great because he hasn't gone 7 this whole year. Like, think about that. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, again, and we mentioned earlier when we were talking to Gabe Lacques, you opened up with the bullpen issues. Mm-hmm. And listen, I tell you one thing that hurts the bullpen, a guy that can't go to the 7th.
Okay.
So, no. I mean,
damn,
someone
he
that's
again.
Oh, man. I got to get stretched out today.
Get him loose.
But, so, again, it's slightly would be my answer, but no, because it's been a whole year, and yes, he's better this year, but what his ERA is at 5, where he just got it down from 5 yesterday. No, you need a full season to get some type of comfortability with you, Darvish, and the Cubs. And I would be a liar or just cover my own ass if I didn't say that.
Yeah, you have to wait. Like as Ken said though, I never liked it because just looking at his past 2 stints, he didn't do it when you needed it. That's my whole thing. He didn't do it when you needed it. He pitched his ass off in the regular season, but when it came to the World Series, where you at? You know, he wasn't there. And you looking at the Cubs, they're in a championship mode. The narrative changed. No more lovable losers. This is different now. We talking about championships. That ain't the guy you want out there when we talking about winning championships.
But see,
that's why I didn't like the sign.
Why I liked it, and I thought
I get the money part of it.
No, but I even with that, going along with what you said, I wasn't looking for him to turn into an ace with the Cubs.
He didn't have to be.
I was looking at him to just be the devourer of innings.
Basically, be what Jake Arrieta was.
Well, I won't give him that.
But you were looking for a power
arm
that could strike somebody out.
Guy,
the pitches,
I was looking at him to be your third guy that sometimes becomes your second guy. But if healthy, you don't have to worry about, again, your bullpen getting taxed because you was out here devouring innings, and the amount of quality starts you got out of him was crazy. That's what I was looking at as his value. Yeah. I did not think Yu Darvish was going to become an ace with looking at some of his past failures in the World Series and back to when he was with the Rangers in the playoffs. I didn't visualize it like that. But still, compared to what I was looking for, they hadn't got because he didn't play last year. It was hurt. And this year, he's still not giving. Well, I guess he's giving you, if he's making it to the 6, he's giving you quality starts. I mean, but still, how many times he made it to the 6?
But think about that, though. But think about that, though. Man, look at you, Darvish. Boy, he really turned around. The dude is only getting to the 6. How are you going to win with it? Especially within this division right now. You can't win like that. I agree with you. Yeah, you don't want him to be your ace. You want him in your 3 or 4. But you know what, damn it? You a starting pitcher, and it might come down to you. Yeah. It might come down to you.
I felt like that was racist.
Why? How did you even get that?
I don't like that.
You? His name is you.
You don't say you and then go you. You know what?
No, you. I might
feel
need
like
you.
That's close to F.U. Dome.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't remember Fukudome in the Cubs?
I remember Fukudome.
I feel like you were using his name in a disgusting manner. And we as the D&D Davis Show will not tolerate that.
I have a picture in my gym. I'm wearing a Sox hat, and my brother-in-law has a Fukudome jersey on.
Jersey or jersey?
It's a shirt and a jersey.
Okay. Listen, you know what? You caught me. You all right, sir.
Jersey. He had a jersey on. But no, I don't trust him.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't trust him.
You can't.
Never.
I'm sorry.
Never
Guess
trusted
what?
him.
D's right.
Thank you. Next.
I would say in terms of fans, how they should feel better, I would say, yeah, you should feel better. I mean, you can go slightly if you guys want, but you have to remember this rotation. You've got 4 guys that you can count on.
Right now.
Don't need you.
Right now.
Right now,
You know what you'd be saying in a month?
What?
You'd be like, damn, so-and-so's hurt. Lester, man, that don't...
Maybe.
I'm just saying.
None of these guys have a track record of that.
True.
It can happen. You're right.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. Chris Bryant could tear his ACL tomorrow, and then we're done.
Don't do that to KB.
I do that with everybody, so it jinxes it. It's the rule of jinx. But I would say that Yu has put together 2 really good starts for him the last 2 times.
Damn.
And I know, that's not a lot.
Son, that's what you
not a
gotta
lot. But that's a quality start
It
yesterday.
was. Yes, it was.
If you can build off some
quality start.
Hey, Jose Quintana, what were we saying after that trade with Eli? Give me a quality start, for God's sakes. Yeah. And now he's turned into something.
He's turned into something too, yeah.
But do we really need to do much to make Cubs fans miserable and not feel like the world is about to crash down on them? They kind of, it's easy for them to feel that way, anyway. They,
Still,
let them have a little light.
They've been in the playoffs 4 years in a row. They get the NLCS. What are you crying about?
Remember how they were talking at the first couple weeks?
But that was crazy, though. But a lot of teams.
That was nuts.
But look, let's back that up. A lot of teams, when you come out the gate like that with the amount of talent that they had, there's going to be doom and gloom.
Boston.
There's going to be doom and gloom.
Sure.
Yeah, but Boston still has a better track record than the Cubs.
No, I'm saying they had just came off the World Series and they stuck coming out.
But I don't think Boston. I mean, again, we're not in New England.
True.
But I'm sure they had people that was ready to burn. But there are also people that knew from how many championships they've won. Just waiting. I mean, also let's not forget when you go deep into the playoffs like that. There's a hangover more than just the banquet circuit. You're taxed. So you're waiting. Like when we were talking about Boston earlier, it was like, just let's wait and see what happens after they can kind of get their legs back under them. But I've said, anytime, any appearance I made, look, wait till May something before we figure out what the Cubs are doing, or June, because of the amount of talent on this team. So what you're saying, I don't think Cubs fans should be reverting back to pre-championship ways of the world is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. I mean, even though you may sense a bit of that dread, you have to have some type of I don't know, some
they
reserve.
can still do that easy.
They're at 27 and 18. They got a batting differential of plus 58.
Yeah,
I think
you
it's
just want to feel like that.
No. This is not me. I'm with you guys.
They're first place.
But I think it's kind of like how, people say Cubs fans are stupid compared to Sox fans. I think
I don't say that.
But why I think that's a common stereotype is because you've got all these Cubs fans, and probably 90% of them are idiots. And if you transfer them over to the White Sox, it would be the same ratio.
That his way.
Says the Cubs fans.
And all that.
If you move 90% of Cubs fans to the White Sox, they would be the same ratio of smart fans to smart fans. It's the people that get it aren't freaking out. I was never freaking out about the Cubs start. I wasn't happy with it because it looked like the last 2 years. Yes. And that was the biggest problem.
I give you
not
that.
And the division
results.
was stronger.
And the division is not strong.
Well, it was the results. It's the slow start again. When did we won the World Series? We get up and go.
And I want to ask this officer here a question.
Very well. Proceed.
Now, here's the question. What have you got against black drivers?
I will not tolerate these outbursts. And you will restrict your inquiry to the matter before the court.
Well, that's what's wrong with the court, Judge. A black man ain't got a chance down here.
I'm black.
Well, you the judge. That don't count.
And now, final question for you guys.
All right.
After the dust has settled and hopefully tempers have had time to calm down, what are you guys most looking forward to coming on TV now that Game of Thrones has concluded?
Ooh.
I guess
tomorrow.
Watchmen's probably going to be.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Everything the HBO showed before the last episode of Game of Thrones.
I just don't know what is a Watchmen going to be?
It's after. It's like
it's
older.
after. It's the everything that happened.
The Warshacks. All the people are the cops and stuff. They're now. He's like their martyr. It seems like.
he's their symbol. Yeah.
I wonder how many years is that? Because
I think it's like 25.
I was going to say 20.
Okay.
And it was set in like the 70s at the time, right?
No.
80s.
It was 80s.
80s.
What happened in the book is canon. And it's like I said, it's about 3 decades after what happened in the book.
Okay.
Yeah, so Regina King's in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I know it's good.
Yeah.
Regina King only
she got good taste.
A+.
Yeah, did you see that Leftovers show that she was in?
Oh, of course I did.
Oh, so great.
You say you didn't? What was Leftovers?
It
was an HBO show.
Yeah, I know. No, it looked quality. I'm not dissing Leftovers.
But Regina was only in second season and third season.
How long did the show last?
3 seasons.
That's what happened when you didn't have enough.
Your show looks kind of interesting. That 3rd season coming up for
Westworld.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
But see, that's like compared to Game of Thrones, where it's like the world come and play. Us Westworld campers, it's just like because they don't. But so many people was like season 2. I just get it. It was like season 2 was better than season 1.
I agree. Phenomenal.
Yeah. So like
the writing.
I forgot that preview of for Westworld that came on before Game of Thrones.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about.
I didn't see a preview.
I
just saw like a.
No, you did. It was where they had Dude and he was out there living, and then he saw what's the name in the alley. So they're showing like what happened when she got away. She was like, "I'm all shot up" or whatever she was when they turned her back on or whatever. Because at first I was like, "Wait, that was Westworld." Then I realized, like, "Oh," because after they caught it, she was like, "It's Westworld," and I was like, "Oh, it is Westworld."
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, no, I didn't either.
What's the main character? The lady that went Daenerys on everybody in Westworld.
Oh yeah, I know her real name, Evan Rachel Wood.
I see that.
Yeah.
But her character she's walking in the alley. The guy from that preview, he sees her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought was so cool. Like how they did that reveal, and it was like, that's interesting.
He gonna be the next whatever that simp was that was following her around. Like, I got me another Patsy.
That's a good one. Definitely
Dolores, by the way.
Dolores. Yes. Definitely that.
Don't bring that.
But I'm going to bring this up. I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I am.
Did you like screen watching? Let D get it on.
I know. Can I say something?
Bad business.
Can I say something?
It's bad business.
No, it's
bro.
not. I grew up watching, as I think probably most of us in here, Norman Lear shows, right?
Not really.
All in the Family.
Yeah, I did.
I don't like
Jefferson.
I don't like All in the Family.
Maude.
What the hell was you doing watching Maude?
It was on rerun.
And then there's Maude, and here you come watch something. I love B. Arthur, but I was never like, put that Maude on.
Maude?
What was the show with old dude from A-Man? Was like, don't say that, mama. What was it with the lead character from A-Man that had the show back on in the 70s?
Oh, That's My Mama.
That's what you was down with That's My Mama too?
I saw that.
Boy, I couldn't wait till That's My Mama came on.
No, I don't know about that one. What's Happening? I love those shows.
Norman Van Leer did.
He didn't.
I was gonna say, damn, I didn't know he was.
That was based off. That was supposed to be based off Cooley High.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that
Even though
era
they had
of
an
television.
Maude.
I loved it. I love watching the reruns of it.
D, how are you doing, D?
Golden Girls? Who doesn't?
Oh, no, that's classic.
Who doesn't like Golden Girls?
That was classic.
But ABC is doing a live version of the Jeffersons and All in the Family.
What the
Jamie
hell is
Foxx,
that
Marissa Tomei, Wanda Sykes,
and
Woody Harrelson.
So clearly Woody's gonna be Archie Bunker.
Yes, he is.
I know that. Looking at Jamie Foxx is gonna be Sherman Hemsley. I would say.
I didn't get down to it.
He's gonna be Sherman.
He's gonna be. Of course, he's gonna be.
Yes, he's gonna be Sherman Hemsley.
Yeah. So again,
Wanda Sykes is gonna be
Weezy.
Weezy.
I thought she was gonna be the maid.
Isabel Sanford is going to be playing Lois. She has a show. I think a show that was on Netflix, I believe.
No, what?
Right? Is that the lady?
Isabel Sanford.
No, Isabel Sanford is who played Lois. That's Weezy. I'm sorry. Justina Machado, I believe, is playing Florence. Yes. Yeah.
So they're getting a Latina to play.
Yeah.
They're updating it.
Will Ferrell is going to be playing Thomas Wolfe.
That was Married to the Sister.
Married to playing Helen, and that's going to be Kerry Washington, who's actually the parents of Lenny Kravitz. I want to see this. Y'all don't want to see this?
They're not the parents. She was the parent.
I thought he was the father.
No, dude.
No, Lenny Kravitz.
Wait a minute.
No.
Wait,
Lenny
hold on.
She's Lenny Kravitz's mama,
but that's not his father.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they was married together.
In real TV?
No, in real life. I thought the two actors were married in real life.
What made you think that?
I thought they were.
Because he was a white man. That's what.
No, I thought they were married.
I know he owned her offset.
No, I thought
clearly that happens.
I thought they was a real couple. I thought that was.
Did you think Weezy and what's his name was a real couple?
No,
but you thought that white man.
I thought they were.
The second liner was their real son.
He was like, how he kiss her? Clearly, they must really be in love.
So much passion.
Clearly, for him to kiss her black lips,
yes,
they must really.
Mama,
this must be true. This must be true.
He didn't recoil with terror after he kissed her.
Let's see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Charlie walked around all this time thinking that was Lenny Kravitz.
I did. I swear to God, I did.
Oh my God.
So how is his last name Kravitz? That dude is not Jewish.
Parents. Let me see. Who is Lenny Kravitz?
No, but
I think his father's last name is Kravitz.
Yeah, he never know.
But I do know.
Funny enough, I think his father was her agent.
Leonard.
Yes, he was.
Leonard Albert. Okay, that's what his name.
Yeah, Leonard Albert. What?
Kravitz.
Okay, because that would probably be
that was
where he got his last name from.
He actually didn't change his name, unlike many Jewish.
Actually, he did change his name.
Now you gonna take?
Remember, he was what's the name, Blue or whatever at first.
Oh, I don't even remember.
He was something. He had a different name. He wasn't Lenny Kravitz when he first dropped.
Okay,
Lenny Kravitz wasn't.
No, he was something like Blue or something. It's kind of like y'all boy Anderson .Paak.
I can see that.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I think it comes on tomorrow.
I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, you by yourself.
I want to see what it is.
That is true. Anytime they do that live,
I love All in the Family.
First of all, anytime they do like we're doing it live, it's never really that groundbreaking. To the point where it's like, so I'm supposed to be like, oh my goodness, in case they mess up. I'm not watching anything to see them mess up.
The Wiz wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. I don't go for not bad.
No, I want to check it out.
I'm never like appointment television. Give me all the stuff that's not that bad.
I want to see what they do.
I just don't.
I want to see what they do.
I don't know, man. I just don't know why. What was the point of
Romeo Blue?
Oh, okay. What was the point of what now?
What's the point of redoing these shows?
Man, it's summertime coming up. They need to feel some content. It's content.
Especially on network TV, who's watching it? People that used to watch that stuff back in the day. I think.
Me.
And the thing is, like in '71, you put Archie Bunker out there, and it's groundbreaking, and it's like
now he's wearing a MAGA hat.
Yeah, like
yeah,
it's gonna be the same stuff like with Roseanne. It's just gonna be corny.
I'm preach on, brother.
That's why I don't watch network TV.
I wasn't a Roseanne fan growing up. That wasn't.
I was. It was hilarious.
I mean, it was straight from.
For its time,
It wasn't appointment TV for me.
It was better than those shows you just mentioned.
It was better than All in the Family.
I'm not.
You think Roseanne was better than All in the Family?
I love Carol O'Connor. I'm a huge Carol O'Connor fan. I never was an Archie Bunker fan.
Wow.
I never
in the heat
put
of
that
the
race.
night?
Yeah, I loved it. And if you hear about, if you hear about his relationship to old boy that was on the Heat of the Night, the black brother that got strung out, and then his son was like the skinny cop on the Heat of the Night. He had problems
you're
too.
right. Yeah,
he's a very good person.
Oh, yeah,
and again, he was acting, but I was never as a kid like, put the races on. That's never just been. I don't like houses filled with junk.
He doesn't like good times. Not good times.
I don't like
good times.
Because that's why. Because I'm from the projects.
Right.
All right. So it's never like bring back that. It was never like the projects of this funny.
I look. Good Times had 2.5 seasons. Beyond that, it was nothing. Sanford and Son was one of the funniest shows of all time.
I'm not even. Listen, Red Fox is a groundbreaking.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. If in the comic, he has a notch in the hierarchy of comedy. I'm cool with that, but. I've watched episodes, but I was never like, I have to watch it. They're still funny, but it was too much trash in the house.
You just said you don't like to see trash around.
I couldn't focus. I'm like, damn, it's dusty in that mud. They need somebody.
Why is that tire in the living room?
Come on, man. I couldn't focus on
it was his kingdom, though. That's part of what was funny about it.
That pile of trash Oscar the Grouch was sitting on was not popping.
I'll give you 2 shows. Stranger Things. I like those shows.
I didn't watch the second season. That's still
better than the first.
Second season was better than the
As
first.
they grow older and how it becomes more mature.
Yeah, it's better.
For sure.
I like that preview.
Did you see the preview for the new
one?
Yeah. Oh,
I have not either.
I stayed away because I didn't watch season 2.
Sweet.
See, the girlfriend, she's rewatching because she never saw it, and I'm watching it with her, and I'm remembering because we're now in season 2. I'm like, oh yeah, now I want to see Stranger
season 1,
Things
it was
3.
like, okay, that was cool.
Yeah, it was
kind
solid.
It was solid, but that's because I wasn't checking out season 2 like that.
Look, here's usually like a Westworld.
Here's an under the radar show if you guys haven't watched this.
Okay.
Time travel show that I freaking love. It's called Dark. It's a German show on Netflix. You can do the audio dub or the subtitles. It's all in German, but the story is phenomenal. Second season comes out late June.
Dark.
Yeah, Dark. DARK.
Okay. I'm off. I try it.
A movie with subtitles, a whole show.
It's so great.
I'm not gonna get
you don't have to do the subtitles. You can do the audio.
Yeah, but
they do like kung fu
like
flicks?
an audio
dub. That's what I'm saying, overdub. And there's not the best. But look, there's not. There's not a clear German word for everything in English language.
Exactly.
So
the
there's
Bible
gonna be
doesn't
points.
convert from Hebrew to English.
Oh, brother, believe I say that to anybody that's like, this is fact. Like when they was remixing that, even when they was first writing it, guess who was writing it? Man.
Right.
A man always has ulterior motives half the time.
Yeah. Guy up in a tower.
Women should be subservient. Yeah, you like that? Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, my wife gonna learn today, right?
Don't even get into the Africans.
Oh, listen, Ham. Listen.
We went over this.
Ham, you messed up, Ham. You gotta serve your brothers.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why we enslaving them, man, because that stuff Ham did way back in the day. I almost cursed right there, but I did. Classic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll check out
Dark.
No. I'll check out Stranger Things 2, season 2.
I mean, you're doing it for yourself, brother. It's good. So
yeah,
see,
good.
I don't give you stuff that's not bad. That's like you in the wheelhouse of kind of not bad.
What?
You know how many times we argue something, you be like, it ain't that bad. And it's like, so that's not what we're here to watch. The ain't that bad stuff.
I'll check out anything.
No, you won't just check it out. You will still watch it.
No, I've given up on shows. You still watch
what comic book shows?
You still watch Walking Dead,
and it turned out being good again.
Oh, okay, you stuck around for that.
Listen,
that trash.
That second half of this last season.
Oh, we got good again.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it
you
was.
made one in the car going back home. DU was right. I don't know why they just.
And guess what? DU was wrong. That second half.
I've missed like Alpha, 2-3 seasons of that.
Alpha, I told you about Alpha.
Who is Alpha?
Man, she a bad MFer. Watch your mouth. Alpha's a nut. Listen, if you thought Negan was all right, because they made his character corny towards the end of it, Alpha is a whole different monster.
Did they ever make him to a prisoner?
Yeah, he just got out.
Okay.
So now he's supposed to be like.
Maybe. They still doing like 20-some episodes a season? Or did they pare it down? You still watching it, cousin?
I haven't. After what's the name died, I haven't watched.
As you should have, because it was
the
stupid.
boy.
Oh, Carl. Carl.
Carl died. I haven't
Oh
watched it.
yeah,
Every time
that's the last season I watched.
Every time that doctor is there, I'll be like, "You killed Carl."
Carl.
But I like given your recommendation, I'll try to catch up and see how I feel about
after
this.
Rick is gone, which pissed me off.
Yeah.
When they get back into, they do the time jump. I say by the second episode, it's like, oh, this is tasty. And then by get to the last episode, it's like, oh my
Is it new showrunners? Is it new writers?
Yes, it's a new lady.
Okay.
Quick question: did you guys watch Breaking Bad?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I watched the first 2
Have
episodes.
you been watching Better Call Saul at all?
I fell off on that too. I watched like the first 2 seasons pretty
It's
much.
been like 5 seasons.
Yeah,
Might be
these
better than
shows
Breaking
keep
Bad.
running off these
I
seasons.
keep hearing that.
It might be
But
better.
how
I
can
keep
it be
hearing
better?
that.
This is my only question because I've heard that also.
Yeah.
But even going back to Better Call Saul, the talk was in the first season or 2 was, all right, it's going to keep getting better because they're going to bring more characters closer to the present of Breaking Bad. But that implied that the first seasons were good, but they weren't great. Most people that talk about Breaking Bad, it seemed like it was great throughout. So how?
No, it's not.
I'm asking for
Breaking
someone.
Bad season 1 has a lot of criticism from people because they really didn't know what they had at the time. It was like 6 episodes.
Yeah, it had
and
to
then,
build up. It had to
right,
build up.
and then it became kind of Breaking Bad.
So okay,
This one is building like season for season. It's like as good or better.
Okay.
Each season.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like Saul's story was. What's inventive about that show was that he did transform himself too, sort of like how
Walter
White transformed himself over Breaking Bad. Saul Goodman wasn't Saul Goodman at the beginning of Better Call Saul. He has to transform himself too to become the guy who met Walter White in Breaking Bad. So it's sort of like this meeting of the 2 shows, and that's what, if you like Breaking Bad, that's what makes you value Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Has AMC caught up with HBO as far as original content? Still hasn't?
They had a moment back in the day, maybe.
When Breaking Bad was
And
at
Mad
its
Men
zenith,
going on?
and Mad Men, that's when they had a chance, but they fell off since then.
And it's like we talking about HBO.
Yeah,
I just want to throw it out there.
HBO put their name on it.
They roll up there, we don't have to do anything for TV cuffs.
Yeah.
And then they roll up the other side where we can do whatever we want on the screen.
And we
then
got
they
the
just
money.
Go.
Yeah. I mean, listen, AMC had a really good run.
A run. Guess who's still running? HBO.
Yeah.
Not the way other people
And The
talking
Walking
about Game of
That's
Thrones.
one series though.
No, I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying it's one.
No, I brought up Game of Thrones.
It's
how
one.
it
That's
ended.
one series, and that basically the worst part is the last season. That doesn't sit there and make me say, well, the whole season. It's not Lost. All right.
Yeah, it's not Lost.
Lost was like, listen, Lost is literally like, I won't really watch it again.
Yeah.
And that's for a show that I loved.
Yeah, the first 2 seasons were awesome. I almost want to rewatch it, but I just know no.
Yeah.
You can't.
Right,
It's
Lost
not
has
Lost.
shaky parts throughout its run. Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones has some shaky parts. It has some seasons that was kind of like,
the
I
last
don't know.
5.
For me.
The last 2 for you?
7. I still feel like season 7 was better. Not to say it still didn't have plot holes. I feel like season 7 was better than season. That first season without the books, they were lagging around trying to figure out what the hell they were doing. And they just didn't. The episodes didn't have the punch that they would have. Like
I
they
agree
would
with that.
end with something where you'd be like, damn, did that just happen? Either it ended with something visually that was like, what the hell? Or it ended with a secret being revealed where you're like, oh. And it got to the point where it was just like, wait, Tyrion still traveling through Valeria? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, ugh.
I agree with you. I think the only thing that different, I hated the rushing stuff. They didn't do
right.
that in season 5.
You're right. You're right. But partly is because they didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Yeah.
They were trying to figure out what it meant. Hey, just keep talking slow.
They're not.
Too bad they couldn't use that magic for the last 2 seasons.
But they want to get
They're
out.
not
They want
Martin.
to get out the game.
Yes. That was the checks are cash.
Yeah, they want to get out the game.
Let's get
man.
to the Star
Get the
Wars.
Star
money.
Wars money, yeah.
All right, that was up for grabs with one Mr. Ryan Bukoveski. It's time to close this out. D and Davis Show.
What's up, everybody? It's Cameron Smith from CBS 2 Chicago. You're listening to the D and Davis Show.
D and Davis Show. It's time to wrap this up after we discuss a little bit of NBA. We definitely appreciate Gabe Lacques for joining us. One thing, 2 things in the NBA kind of stuck out to me, and it was an article on ESPN.com where President of Basketball Operations David Griffin of the not Oklahoma City, the New Orleans Pelicans, the Smoothie King team, talked about how the team was becoming more enticing. And one, the narrative that Zion Williamson and that Ja Morant didn't want to come there was false. and that he plans to probably doing a summer league, but to sit down and eye to eye and talk about the passions of what they want to do moving forward with AD, and also of acquiring Trajan Langdon from the Nets. I remember Trajan Langdon from being a Dookie.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be much better, but he wasn't in the pros. So that was a Duke team that was loaded. That was a Corey Maggette, Elton Brand team back in the days. But he just went on to talk about that, and we've seen from what he did in Cleveland that he does bring stability. And you got to also remember with Cleveland, he was dealing with a crazy owner, where it seems like Gail Benson, now the owner after her husband passed, the owner of the Saints and the Pelicans, and they also talked about this, and we talked about this. They used to have some of the football people in the training staff for the basketball. They spend money. So they're building a new facility, and they're spending tons of more money on the basketball side. He's basically talking about that she's opening up the pocketbook and allowing him to build a proper basketball organization, and how this team can be more attractive moving forward, and particularly in trying to maintain and retain their star in Anthony Davis.
I mean, that's smart business right there. Also, now you have the number 1 draft pick. Yeah, you better open up them pockets to kind of really set that team off, because New Orleans is not a basketball, at least in my opinion.
No, bro, it's not.
It's not a basketball city. It's football.
They couldn't keep
football.
Pistol Pete.
Yeah, exactly.
He went to Utah.
Well, in Utah, it was a New Orleans Jazz, and
That's
went
why
to
it's
Utah.
the Jazz.
Right. That's why it's the Jazz.
I don't know
right.
Mormons that play the Jazz like that.
No, not at all. So, but no, that's something that they have to do if they want to still be a viable team, or they not going to be one of those teams that's going to be in the mix of talking about moving back to Seattle. You know what I'm saying? You want to really stay down there, and you're owners of the Saints. You want to keep a team down there. Yeah. That's smart on their part. That's smart on their part.
You just brought up a point, though. I mean, for someone who's basically a Saints fan, like that family, that's a Saints family.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Another family-run business, a family-run team.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still hold on to your jewel in the city that you love, but you can sell that basketball team and probably for what Benson paid for it.
Oh, man.
The flip
yeah.
of that.
man, yeah.
And pocket that and still, because
I wouldn't be surprised if that family did that with that team.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, I mean, because it would make more sense when how long, and we have to find out with Zion going there, how that's going to change the flood of cash.
Oh my God!
It should. It should, right?
Be a nice infusion.
I mean, even with Anthony Davis being there and being a better player, Zion is a highlight reel, especially the first 2 seasons. If he doesn't meet up to expectations, but the first 2 seasons, we're still going to be waiting to find out.
Imagine if they still had both of them.
Yeah,
If they were able to convince AD, we want to keep you here, and he wants to stay, and he has this high-fly number 1 overall pick, generational player. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, man! I'd be on the phone. Who want to buy this? Mm-hmm. Who want to buy? Because I would. Well, it's not in LA, so it's probably won't. I don't know how much did the Clippers go for. $2 billion?
Yeah,
but that's it. He overpaid, dude.
It might go for more than $2 billion.
No,
they don't lose value.
but that was a
NBA
it's not
team.
gonna go. It's not
NBA
gonna
maybe
go.
not 2.
No, that's a team in LA.
That's why. That's
You're
why.
going to get $1 billion. You're getting $1 billion.
You're getting $1 billion.
I think the Bucks went for more than that.
No, I
though.
mean Bucks went for they went for under $1 billion. It was like either about $800 million. It didn't go for $1 billion.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But women, who got sold first, the Bucks or the Clippers?
Probably I don't know. They were around the same time.
About the same time.
Think about how long
because they was threatening about moving them.
Yeah, but again, that's why Cole, the guy that owned them, made sure that it was written in it that they
They'll
had
stay
to
in Milwaukee
and build a new stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if I'm a Seattle-based billionaire or
Which there are a lot of.
yes, there are, or a conglomerate or a corporation, listen, I would be calling, because if they can go up there and they can at least figure out some kind of way to work with the city, try to get something built, or the city just say, hey man, listen, you still got to build it because we didn't do it for the Supersonics who are now the Thunder. You can build it. I'll be trying to call the Benson family like, man.
Again, though.
Yeah, true. They got to use the name.
left with KD and you return with Zion.
Yes. And possibly AD, if it's possible.
That'd be crazy.
I would be calling her like crazy. That is not a basketball market.
She can get
paid.
I mean, once if a bidding war, they may be able to get close to that too, but she can get easy 1.5 for that.
That's what old boy Howard Schultz should do instead of running for president.
Very smart. I agree with you, Kyle. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. I mean, but it's also too talking
Just
about
because.
They're talking about
No, you're running.
because I can. But they're talking about Ballmer, talking about maybe taking the Clippers up to Seattle.
But that's always any open city is always the threat.
But at least he has some type of tie back to the city.
I'm not even knocking it. But
so that's again, a plausible
if he's going to go
thing.
back to the Forum or move to Anaheim, it's easy for him to sit there and start negotiating with whatever municipality he's in to try to get taxpayers' money. Would be like, hey guys, I could just take this team to Seattle.
Yeah,
just like the Gary Indiana Bears.
True.
I saw online same year. I think April the Bucks were sold. August the Clippers, the Bucks for $550 million.
I thought it was about
that was right.
Yeah.
The Bucks was the last. The Bucks is the last NBA team though that's getting sold for under $1 billion.
Yes,
and that was because people didn't know. Really, to be honest with you,
that owner,
yeah. I mean, but the kickstart of being the Clippers being oversold though. That means that's just if you can, Brian. Yeah, if you can, Brian, try to see if you can pull up the value of each NBA team. I think that came out not too long ago.
Yeah, that did just come out.
So what the Bulls were top 5 at least. Were they number 5? But it could have been number 4.
I think they're number 4.
And the Knicks were the number
1. Golden State.
I think they're the Bulls, right?
Yeah, Bulls are definitely in that top 5.
Right.
I know that.
So I'd be interested to see exactly where the New Orleans Pelicans are.
Oh man, they got to be in the bottom 10.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe bottom 5.
I was going to say, it's New Orleans.
Second to last from what I can see.
So
right above Memphis.
They have a value to it though?
From what I can see,
over $300 million. I'm guessing.
$5.
Damn, it's the Smoothie King though. It's Smoothie King.
It's a hot 5 though.
We give you a couple beignets, and half a po' boy,
and some lean,
right?
And some heroin from what's the name that used to be in the Hot Boys? The first one that really popped off, not up here but down there. BG.
Yeah. And heroin with a syringe used by BG.
We give you that stuff that knock BG off.
Ooh, you know how hard it is to knock B Jizzle off? That's two wallops of that boy.
He take a double dose.
Damn, just crapping all over New Orleans. I heard it's a fun city. I've never been. But no, I'm guessing
is it kind of weird that the NBA keeps pushing basketball in New Orleans?
Yeah.
Like, why do they keep going?
The NBA wants to be everywhere, though. Yes. It's a global sport. They want to be
gone
everywhere.
there 3 times.
3 times? Oh, yeah. With the Hornets.
Well, they went Jazz, Hornets, and the Pelicans.
Franchise.
Well, I mean, the Hornets and the Pelicans are the same team, though.
Didn't one move to Oklahoma City?
No.
Oh, that was Seattle. That's right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
They just gave the name back to Jordan.
They were Oklahoma City because
New Orleans
of what's
played in Oklahoma City because of the hurricane.
Because of the hurricane. Yeah, that was the only reason.
And they left. The Hornets initially left Charlotte because the owner had did something, I think, lascivious. And at that time in the Bible Belt, the team that had the highest, had one of the highest gates of people coming into those Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, and Muggsy Bogues Hornets team, they stopped coming because of what the owner did. And probably the team wasn't as good. And that's when he moved it to
George Shin is a Hall of Fame bad owner.
Yeah.
$1.22 billion.
Yeah.
She
could probably get easy more than $2 million. $2 million.
Memphis is last at $1.2 billion.
It's the NBA.
Yeah.
It's the NBA. They don't lose money.
And they're gonna get more. They got more TV money coming in. You getting all types.
Yeah, but them TV contracts not gonna be as strong.
A little interesting. Bulls are number 4.
Yes,
behind Golden State. I thought they were behind Boston.
No, that's what we said.
No, where's Boston? Number 5. Yeah.
No, we said Knicks, Lakers, Golden State.
Okay,
Bulls.
so
now you got to think they opened up that new arena and how much it costs to live in San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
But it has no Valley. I guess they're projecting.
The arena.
The
listen,
projection is crazy.
Remember, the Bears will probably be closer to number 1 if they own Soldier Field. No, I'm serious.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because you're selling that. So if you're having a dope arena,
it just makes me laugh every time that they don't own their own stadium.
It wouldn't happen to me.
They don't want no part of it though.
It wouldn't happen to me. I'd be like, City A, we got to do something to where, I got to have some real ownership.
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen to me. We have the NBA's all-rookie team that came out. As Ryan said, you had the top 5 picks all made the first team. DeAndre Ayton from the Suns, Marvin Bagley III from the Kings. Of course, Luka Doncic was going to get it, who may be the Rookie of the Year, or it could be Trae Young. You also had Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Grizzlies, and last for the first team, you had the aforementioned Trae Young. And then for the second team, you had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Colin Sexton, Landry Shamet, Mitchell Robinson from the Knicks, and Kevin Holter.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
It's a good class.
Oh, it's a good class. It was valuable.
Yeah.
And like this year, it was valuable.
Yeah.
Seriously, it was valuable.
Did you tell them the stat?
With what stat?
that this is the first time since 84, 85?
No, you can do that. You just did.
The top 5, 1 through 5, being all rookie NBA team. First time this has happened since 84, 85.
And who was on that? Who was on that all NBA team?
Hakeem Olajuwon, Sam Bowie, Michael Jordan, Sam Perkins, and Charles Barkley. And they were 1 through 5.
And you got
Sam
what?
Bowie made the first team? Damn,
All
he was
rookie.
healthy?
All rookie.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute. He was on. No, he was.
Oh, boy, you better know that.
Hold on.
You better know that.
You better give him that. Hey, Michael Jordan,
You
right
better know
now.
that.
Come on,
Portland.
In between segments,
I'm
I
trying
was
to think
getting
who
lambasted
was-
over here.
Who was the Twin Tower down in New?
Ralph Sampson.
Ralph Sampson.
yeah.
Okay, that's who I'm thinking about. Okay, all right.
The great Sam Bowie.
Facts. I loved him as a Laker. Seriously.
No, I was
I was happy for him that he was actually healthy during that time when the Lakers were winning. I had love for Sam Bowie because he helped us get Michael Jordan.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to Clyde Drexler.
We can't
Shout
have
out to
Clyde
John
Drexler and Michael Jordan.
Not back then though.
Yeah, the NBA was different.
Yeah, just
You would not
Yeah,
have
NBA
two similar height
that-
wing players.
Yeah, no.
Like, not
And
back
Bowie was a star coming out of
then.
Kentucky.
Bowie was hurt at Kentucky.
But yeah.
But he was a star
hurt
though.
there.
He was a big man like that coming out. You look at the projections. It almost kind of reminds me of Greg
I'm
Oden.
gonna be like, let me look at your feet. Ooh, no, those ain't gonna make it in NBA. What y'all say about big guys? And you say that about
Me?
Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant, he wears a feather.
You don't want
Sam
to
Bowie is a
have.
legit 5.
Yeah, he was a big dude.
Like lumbering. He
was a big dude.
Zdronis Ilgauskas feet, lower extremity issues, basically. So no,
But people didn't look beyond height at that point.
But man, I look at them medicals. I've been like, ooh, oh hell to no, get your ass about here. I heard that Jordan can knock down some shots.
no, we need a big man.
But I said before, I mean, they had Clyde there. They didn't think they could have both of them. Could you imagine if both of them played together though?
Jordan would have ate Clyde Drexler's lunch.
You ain't better than me.
Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right. They would have tried it and they'd be like, we got to move this Drexler.
That been like old boy in like Dantley in Detroit.
Yeah, like Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, how he got muscled out.
Yeah.
Look, if anything, the player they should have drafted, they should have been ahead of the curve and be like, that Sam Perkins look like a stretch 4.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done.
Yeah. That's a good call.
Instead of spending that, wasting that pick on Sam Bowie.
Poor Sam Bowie.
And then Greg Oden just a few years down the road.
That's not fair to Greg Oden, though.
Because I'm just saying for
very
Portland,
similar.
But see, the sample
for
size, I
Yeah.
don't know if Sam Bowie stayed there all 4 years or just 3. But the sample size of him in Kentucky, he had an injury prone. He was injury prone. With Greg Oden being a one and done, we still didn't know that was going to be his future.
Yeah, I don't think he had.
And that was
he
his
in college,
hand initially.
Yeah, it was his thumb.
Not every other part of his body.
Yeah.
Right? So how would you
down.
would you look at his hand and be like, oh my goodness, your legs are going to give out on you.
I mean, but you think about it though. Even then, when Greg Oden was being drafted, the NBA wasn't what the NBA is now.
No, because
it was still the same thing. Like, man, you have to take a big man that's that skilled. Yeah, you have the 7 foot. Basically shooting guard and Kevin Durant, but it's kind of like we ain't never seen anything really like on that level yet. Nobody's seen that. Nobody knew that.
He may have lost, but Greg Oden gave the flux to Florida.
He sure did.
Right, like let's
He sure
not
did.
act like coming
Yeah.
out of Ohio, you wasn't like
Joakim Nolan, right?
yeah, him and Al Horford.
Yeah.
Let's not act like
Yeah,
you
he
wasn't
sure
like
did.
Greg Oden could be worst case
He was
scenario
a beast.
17, 12, and 3.
Yeah. He was
Right?
beast.
Like you were like, oh, this
He carried Ohio State.
He sure did.
He was like, if any, I'm disrespecting this player. If anything, he was like, this is Mutombo. And like having that, you
That's a
can't,
Hall of Famer right there.
Yeah, you can't. And it seemed like his offensive game was going to grow to be better than what Mutombo's developed into. So you can't. Again, you couldn't have known that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you should have known Sam Bowie was probably going to be hurt. You got that racist rump all on you. It's bad business down there in Kentucky, brother. It's not going to work out for you. Look, I want to get into the Bucks cutting, or alleged to, but we can clearly see it's going to happen with the signing. They got rid of Gerald McCoy, him of the Lone Gums, and they replaced him with a guy that was drafted just one pick ahead of him at number 2 with Ndamukong Suh. Bruce Arians is down there shaking things up. And you got to
sure
look at
is.
that defensive line now, which is going through a transition. Let's not forget, we talked about this back a week or two ago. Jason Pierre-Paul had a car accident and his neck is broke. So listen, he's not going to be there, and he had a pretty good year down there coming from the Giants. So you're going to lose Gerald McCoy, who isn't the same as his value. His contract is worth $13 million this season, but still he's better than Ndamukong Suh, and he's been one of your standard bearers. And of course, it's transition and trying to find out. But I just want to know your guys' thoughts on this move for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
As you said before, man, it's kind of shaking up. Suh, it comes down to money too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, brother wants to get paid, and Suh is coming off a so-so year out there in L.A.
It's mad so-so.
Yeah, but I mean, he's coming off the cheap. And the one thing with the NFL, you have a lot of coaches, a lot of GMs like, oh, we could fix him, we can bring that back. So he can help out the team. So it's not that surprising in the NFL that they do something like this, because I think we see this kind of regularly.
I'm just interested in seeing where McCoy gonna go and what type of. I mean,
that's a good question.
You got to figure he's going to go to a team where he's going to make an impact, even though he's got that tag, that price tag that he won't, I guess. But
what is he asking for?
He's not going to get that.
Yeah.
Well, that contract has been voided since he got cut.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like,
I'm sure he's one to be in double digits,
Right.
but still, depending on how you can structure it now, because now you can front load it depending on, let's just say you got cap space this year and next, but no, you have to pay your quarterback or whoever in a few years.
Sure.
You can front load that deal knowing that after you go on a run with him, you're going to cut him again.
And when you get cut, you automatically lose value, basically.
To a certain degree.
But
depending on the player.
Yeah.
Depending on the player and the situation.
I just don't think that people are going to rush to give him the same contract.
Whoa, dude. You're talking about a top 4 D tackle?
Yeah, he's still up there.
On a market that people may have expected, but now he's on the market by himself.
But you think he's going to get the same amount of money that he was getting?
It's going to be, I bet you, with what he gets the first year, with the signing
first year
bonus,
might be comparable.
but I mean, in all fairness,
that's all you need, though.
Yeah,
Right.
if he just had basically a year left on his deal, but I'm saying the first year is going to be more probably with signing bonus and base salary more than that 13, perhaps. But or it may not. It may be
or
close.
bidding war could happen.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It may be close, but he gets a second year, so he has stability. But that's the thing when you're saying that just because he got cut, there may not be a value. I think there are going to be teams out there that are looking like, hey.
Oh, yeah. Teams are going to be lining up for this guy.
We can put him on our team.
He's a tipping point guy.
Especially, let's think about it. If you got an edge rusher, but you need somebody strong up the middle.
Cleveland. And what do they always say? Up the middle pressure.
But then how many people can they keep signing them?
Right, yeah.
I mean, at some point, Hazlitt and his pilot, whatever business.
Flying J.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it can't, like, come on now. Where the hell is the cap at?
Does KC
I know you're not paying your quarterback. But where's the thing? But dude, think about who they're paying now. You got Landry's getting paid, Odell's getting paid. All right, and that's just on the offensive side.
But if you can front load it, as you said, and you don't have to worry about the back load, and you don't have to, you have a rookie, not a rookie, but a second year quarterback.
I'm gonna tell you
I'm just threw him out there.
If the Browns get Gerald McCoy, I'm gonna be up and on.
And Myles Garrett, they're gonna have to give him a contract next year.
Big contract.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, is it next year though?
Because he's same class as Trubisky. Trubisky's gonna be a free agent in a couple years.
Oh,
he gets his 5th year option,
right? And they're gonna sign him before that.
But think about it, they're not too far off from what they got to do. Same with Ward, just like the Bears have to do with Eddie Jackson. Let's not forget that time they
have a little bit more cushion with Ward.
They do, but again, you may want to get out ahead of it though. Like, that's what we keep saying. You don't talk about waiting for Eddie Jackson. You're talking like, man, let's try to get this kid signed for a little bit less than what market value may be.
You brought up KC.
No, I didn't.
I brought him. I was about to say, does KC have money left to bring him in?
Perhaps because they did. But wait, they got to be close to it because they signed Frank.
Yeah.
So they moved before because they didn't want to sign him, but they brought in Frank and gave him money from Seattle. Mm-hmm. So how much money can they put on that line?
And they know they're paying Mahomes pretty soon, too.
And you know he's going to break your nose.
Yeah, he's going to be top.
He's going to be, he's got to be the highest paid QB when his time come out.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to be the closest that we've seen to $200 million.
Does Seattle take a look at him?
No. I think with their cap situation, maybe because again we're
talking about Russell. There's nobody really else.
We're going to talk about short runs. So
they just made the playoffs. Russell was back. The defense, you can always kind of rebuild that defense. Have a strong guy up the middle.
My thought is this: do the Pats go after him?
That's what I was actually going to say.
That seems to be
because
what
he's got the most think about where he's at. If he wants to win, he hasn't been really on a winning team down there.
Mm-mm.
So if he wants to finally win. Would he do what players usually do?
Do like a Clint Dix?
He's gonna get more. He's gonna
deal?
get more than that.
Yeah,
but
would
he go for $5 to $6 or $7 million and be like, I'll go to prove it and get my Boogie Cousins title, except I'll be playing perhaps. Will I go and pull that move?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Is that Belichick just made me think of those bars that Thanos said, like, you can't accept your failure, so it leads you right back to me.
Yeah,
that's facts.
Yeah,
even more than Thanos.
Yes,
that's facts.
Bill really be snapping those fingers. He's got 6 rings to those.
Could be clanging.
He probably saw Endgame and was like, "Can I get one of those gloves I can put all these Super Bowl rings on?"
And then I can rub Robert's back when he getting that masseuse action.
They're not gonna let that tape out, Robin. It's okay.
Do double
snap
team
my
on
finger.
him. He like that. He like
sex traffic action and great head coach action at the same time.
A snap of a finger, I'll get rid of this lawsuit.
This is what wealth gives me.
I went there 2 times.
Who's freakier than this?
2 times.
Okay, I'm done.
Bobby, pull the car around one more time. I gotta go back.
Ooh. Warm up the jet. We're leaving Kansas City and going to Florida.
Oh, I can't wait.
Is he gonna make that a pregame ritual now? Probably, man.
Question: does the tape get out?
I don't know.
Okay.
But you want to see a sex tape of a 70-year-old man?
Facts.
You want to see it?
Facts.
Oh, wow.
Let me be true.
You a freaky mother. You know
it's
what?
not for free.
It's Patriots
It's all
owner.
for jokes. It's all for joke action.
You
Like he out here like that. It's all,
especially knowing when you're watching the video, he came back for seconds.
Listen,
that day.
Especially as he has like
who got volume 2?
Listen, especially to find out how billionaires go limp. Like,
let me say it. Clean me off, baby.
Dream chaser.
Clean me off. I'll be back at 4 o'clock.
Oh Lord, Meek! I never knew when Meek was saying it was like that. It was just like that. So.
I'll tell you what, girl. We win this AFC championship. Better keep your night open.
Glitter books.
I told you I was gonna be back, girl.
Start walking in there with nothing but a trench coat on and his Dream Chaser chain.
I wonder why he ain't go back after the Super Bowl.
Free Meek.
I wonder why he ain't go back.
Because he probably got another place he goes to.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just multiple.
He doesn't. If you think that man only gets his sessions down in Florida, like, man, unless I'm in Florida, I just can't get this type of action.
I had to get something on a call.
To be fair
on
to
the jet, come on back up.
You're in Kansas City, Missouri, and you're flying right back to Florida.
She good.
Yeah, you think?
Apparently.
She good.
What was the same one? Was it the same one? Did they say
I
that?
think so. I mean, he's going to the same place.
Yeah, I think so. He had him a special. He's like, hey, special, give me the special.
No, not you. The other one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you.
Not special.
You did a good job last time.
You fresh from Cambodia.
I wonder, maybe somebody. What you just say?
You right off the boat. I bet. Did you even have an option? Ooh. Dream Chasers.
Thank God Florida has a coast.
What's that Meek Mill song? The one that starts off slow, then he goes, and then I'm back at it again. What's that Meek Mill song, Kyle?
Oh man,
I know my little cousin likes that song.
Yeah, listen, because that's like one of his classic songs. Just think of Robert Kraft doing it.
It's going. Start off slow. I want you to first. You hear Meek, you go faster. Oh, he went another fast, another bar. Go fast.
I come into the sex trafficking organization. I'm getting groped. Then I'm at it again. She grabbing me again. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. I wonder if it will get out.
It'll get out.
What if what's in Florida, right? What if a Miami Dolphins fan is working in the DA's office and he was like, man, dude, he always beating us. I'm about to do an old school, put it in an envelope and mail it out to somebody.
It's gonna get out.
Bleacher Report.
It's gonna
Open it up.
get out. It's gonna get out.
Or somebody. Well, they don't mail. They don't have tapes. Well, this is on tape. I would think it's probably been downloaded somewhere.
If he slips during any part of it,
You want to him fall?
just like slap it. Damn!
Where's that table?
Oh! I lost so much blood. I lost so much blood in my head.
Lightheaded and legs are shaking.
Lord.
Baby, you're good.
Yeah.
Baby, you are good.
I swear that flight from KC, I meant that. I meant it.
I will be back. Damn!
I'm buying this place.
Kraft is back again. How you just leave?
Here's Robert.
Robert's going to have for the special number 2.
No, see, D, they'll probably be the opposite. Be like, I haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been at?
Yeah, I was here yesterday. Damn.
The plane pulled up in the parking
We just
lot.
hanging out in the main lobby?
Lord, this mug, bro.
Flew right into the strip mall parking lot. Just it back again.
Just ran out of the plane.
Like
the
one of
door
those
didn't
ones
even
that
come
go
down.
in the water
Yeah,
and he just jumps out.
I'm coming.
It's like SEAL Team 6. Like, all right, get ready for the jump, Mr. Kraft.
I'm ready. They be like, you have on no pants.
You have to put on your
I don't need
oxygen
'em.
mask at 25,000 feet.
Where your pants at? I don't need them.
Quick.
You know what they doing here? I wonder if somebody has downloaded it because everything is on digital file. I wonder if it will get out.
I mean, you would think someone would do it just for blackmailing.
It'll probably be on Pornhub one day.
Revenge porn.
See, I don't want it on Pornhub.
It'll probably be on Pornhub.
Keep it away from that Pornhub.
X videos.
Yeah, I just want it to pop up. But I don't want to go through Pornhub. That's like
It's
too underground.
That's too personal.
It's too much malware.
That's too
You got too much malware on your computer.
I don't want to be like skipping from Jade Fire and then be like Robert Kraft. Dream Chaser Part 3.
Old man goes to Florida Bravo.
Oh,
okay.
I could imagine the recommendations under that video.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's going to get out probably. All right, hey, thanks for listening to us. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show. Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. Download, subscribe, rate, give them ratings, man. Shout out to everybody on SoundCloud. Before I even tweet out the show, man, we getting listens coming in already. We getting likes on SoundCloud. Same thing as Instagram too, man. That popularity, the little bar, man, is up before I even sent out the tweet. So thank you for everybody out there subscribing and listening to us, all right? iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Music, Stitcher, the TuneIn app, War on Anchor, and YouTube as well. I'm on Twitter, Demons1. That's Davis, Ken Davis, Ryan Bukoveski, Ryan B. Ski, Kyle Means, work_right. Wait a minute, Ian, Twitter handle, you got one, man? You want to be around here?
Come on, Ian. Oh, yeah, hold up, give me a second.
Oh, you got to look up your Twitter handle?
My bad, man. I don't have it on the spot real quick. Sorry.
Man.
Oh, he just opened that account.
Yeah, he did. He was over there, man. They talking sports. He can open up his Twitter.
He put out all his Robert Kraft sex innuendos in there.
All right, what you got?
Ian Nicholas 42.
Ian Nicholas 42. Ian Nicholas 42. I'm gonna try to remember that. I don't usually remember nobody's.
What's the 42 for?
It's my old high school basketball jersey number.
All right. What position you play?
Power forward.
Okay.
You knew that.
Okay.
You knew they had that brother playing out of position because he was tall for a high school kid. But he never was going to go pro. It's like, can I learn to handle the ball? No. Go rebound, tall boy. I'm only 6'3". It don't matter.
The boy over there is 5'8".
Now, wait, was 42 any relation to Jackie Robinson?
No.
Damn, I wish you lied.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, you should have worked that.
Of course. Say yes, Ian. Say yes.
Yeah,
say
from
yes.
now on, Ian, that is a yes.
Oh, yes. He was a trailblazer.
Oh.
He led the way for me.
Just like Robert Kraft. Okay, I'm done.
I was going to say that.
We can't let that Robert Kraft go. We just wasted 15 minutes on it.
Oh, that was gold right there.
It kind of got still at the end, but still. Listen, we want to unfortunately thank Gabe Lacques because we brought him into this Robert Kraft mockery. Yeah, like, I want no parts of that. But definitely thanks for Gabe, and make sure you follow him at Gabe Lacques. Shout out to Mitch Rosen for always providing us with this wonderful studio and access and ability to grow here at the school. We're definitely
everybody down at 670 Score.
Everyone's been great to us. So make sure you check out all the shows here, and particularly since our executive producer is on it, and also he's our big brother, Lawrence Holmes Show, but the shows on the Score from David Hall and Mully. Mm-hmm. From Bernstein and McKnight, definitely Danny Parkins and McNeil. Danny's always been down with us, so just check out.
Also, the Robert too and Julie DeCarroll too.
Definitely,
Maggie and all
I
of them.
apologize,
Yeah,
especially
all
to
of them.
Julie.
Everybody, man, they take care of us.
Julie's held us down, so definitely shout out to Julie and Maggie. So just make sure you continue to rock with all of us. Make sure you go to We Are Regal Radio. Regal Radio Media Group, and check out everything that's being posted there, all the articles, and also all of the Anchor interviews that Cal's been posting on there. So just keep rocking with the crew, and we definitely appreciate it. So before we go, as you know, check out the flip. It should be entertaining this weekend.
Yes.
But also, don't do anything stupid before you hear from us again.
Keep your hands to yourself.